7 series beginning Sunday afternoon starting at 4:30 in Milwaukee. Behind a Rowdy Tellez 2-run homer in the first inning and a sacrifice fly in the top of the 10th, the Brewers go on to win in San Diego, beating the Padres by a final of 4-3. Colin Ray, who got the spot start for the Brew Crew, he was the story of the game, going 5 2/3 innings while only giving up 1 earned run and striking out 6 batters. The Brewers are back at it tonight in San Diego. Eric Lauer is slated to get the start. First pitch is set for 8:40. You can tune into full coverage right here on WTMJ, your home of the Milwaukee Brewers, beginning at 8:05. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
All right, and taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Things are moving along fine across the area. No real delays. We do have one broken down vehicle on 94 southbound right in the Mitchell interchange. It's off on the right shoulder, so it's really not affecting the ride that much. It's just something to keep in mind if you're going to be heading through that area.
Traffic is sponsored by Evans Transportation Services. Thank heavens for Evans. Rely on one company for accounting, shipping, and tracking. Evans Transportation Services. Family owned for 40 years and continuing to grow. Evans Transportation Services in Brookfield.
And your WTMJ 5-day forecast today, mostly sunny with a high of 73 at the lakefront, 82 inland. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 53. Tomorrow, increasing clouds, thunderstorms later on with a high of 70 at the lakefront, 80 inland. On Sunday, rain showers and thunderstorms, chance of thunderstorms, cloudy, breezy with a high of 55. Monday, a few rain or snow showers early, cloudy with breezy with a high of 45. And then Tuesday, sunny, a high of 50 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's 63, Green Bay 67, Waukesha is 65, and in Milwaukee, it's 68 degrees. I'm Debbie Lazaga, citing a limited WTMJ News Time 9:10.
Breaking down the biggest stories, talking about what really matters, and bringing you the biggest forum to let your voice be heard. Now, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, here's Steve Scaffidi.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome. Friday is here. We've made it. Those of us who work Monday through Friday, looking forward to the weekend. In studio, Joseph Heckey, Democratic strategist. Welcome.
Good morning.
On your vacation?
Well, not quite yet. I may have overstated a little bit.
Not yet.
I get a hard time no matter what. I wear a hat. I get a hard time about that. I roll in shorts. I get a hard time about that. I can't win.
You can win. You've got a Ted Lasso shirt on. Which
That's right.
I'm a big fan of Ted Lasso.
Be curious, not judgmental.
Yes, I love his message. Speaking of loving his message, Bill McCoshen joins us from, where are you at today, Bill?
I'm in Fitchburg, Wisconsin. I'm at home today.
On location, Fitchburg, Wisconsin.
On location, right?
Gorgeous Fitchburg. I love it. Love it. All right, Bill McCoshen. It's always a little trickier when we have you on the phone and Joe's in the studio, but we'll make it work. We've done it before. So we're going to start with the Tammy Baldwin announcement this week. She is, Joe, you're going to be up first. She is running now.
Yeah, expected announcement. I mean, this is really just making it official, taking any suspense out of it. I think she'll have an event this weekend to kick it off. And, we actually touched on this last week. I mean, this is an incredibly strong incumbent. I would argue that she has a very compelling case to make to Wisconsin about her work on things like Make It in America provisions that are now part of the really big infrastructure and Inflation Reduction Acts. A leader on civil rights, a champion on healthcare. She's got a message. She's got a story to tell. I think Bill talks about the message, the organization, and the money. She's going to have the money. She's got a good message. And we know that Democrats have built the organization that has now won 14 of the last 17 statewide races. She starts in as good a place as probably any statewide politician has in quite some time in Wisconsin.
All right, Bill, so someone's got to run against her. What are you hearing? What are your thoughts? Who's got the best chance? I mean, there's a lot of open questions at this point.
Yeah, I would agree. Right now, there's two business guys looking at it. Eric Hovde, successful businessman here in Madison, ran for the U.S. Senate in 2012, lost in a close primary with Tommy Thompson. He's seriously considering it and would have the funds to potentially put a pretty big chunk in right from the beginning, and that is what it may take here. The other guy is from the Milwaukee area, Scott Mayer. He's on the WMC board, also a very successful businessman, sold his company recently, probably has resources to put towards the race early. But as we talked about last week, Tammy's going to be a tough out. And for a Republican to have a really good shot at this, we need the right candidate at the top of the ticket, because the presidential race will sort of dictate how this race turns out. Don't forget the one when Donald Trump won here in 2016, Ron Johnson won. Now, to be fair, Johnson got more votes than Trump did. So some argue that Johnson dragged Trump across the finish line. Others argue Trump dragged Johnson. Hard to say, but it's without a doubt that the top of the ticket will impact this race. But Tammy starts out as the favorite for sure. Don't forget, only one statewide incumbent in the entire country lost in 2022, the sitting governor of Nevada. That's it. So being an incumbent's a pretty good place to be these days.
So on the Republican side, I did this as my show poll yesterday on Twitter. I threw a few names out there: Congressman Mike Gallagher, Kevin Nicholson, who's run for a few things, Rebecca Clayfish, other names that are, you mentioned a couple. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Clayfish may be considering. I don't know. She's been sort of dark since last August. But I think the hard truth for Republicans is they've just run two candidates, Tim Michels first and then Daniel Kelly, who had lost statewide campaigns prior to running again, and they ended up losing a second time. So I don't think losing a statewide race is the best place to start based on recent history, and Clayfish and Nicholson would have to struggle with that.
Well, I mean, listen, we've talked about this for a long time. There's a challenge in the Republican Party right now. Y'all are trying to figure it out. Reporting from Wisp Politics yesterday, Roger Roth, who ran for lieutenant governor, was approached. People wanted to talk to him about running, and he's just out there saying, I've got concerns about the organization among the Republican Party. So when you've got, that level of skepticism, when you've got, out on the chicken dinner circuit right now, the likes of former Sheriff David Clark, former Special Counsel Michael Gableman, and those are kind of your big draws at the local county party dinners that, Bill, you and I know both Republicans and Democrats use as organizing tools. It speaks to the broader challenges facing the Republican Party right now.
Is there a kernel of truth there, Bill?
There is, yeah. I think anyone who's serious about winning in the state of Wisconsin has some concerns about where the Republican Party sits today, and there's a lot of work to be done, and not a lot of time to do it. I mean, fortunately, there's no more races of substance in 2023, and the next big race is the presidential primary on the Republican side in April of next year. So we got a little time. We're getting a little bit better at fundraising, but we're woefully behind where Democrats are at on that. And frankly, we got to do a better job on the messaging side. I think that we have struggled with that both in the gubernatorial race and in the most recent Supreme Court race. And I think we'll talk about that over the next 45 minutes, but Republicans need to do a better job on messaging.
Bill McCosh and Joseph Peck. We do it every Friday, 9 o'clock hour, looking at politics in the states and across the country and sometimes even the world. Join us. If you have a question for the gentleman, 855-616-1620. The talk and text line is open. Lots more to get to. We'll do it after this on WTMJ.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Forgive us, friars, for we have been, well... The Brewers take on the Padres out west.
Brasso, high fly ball, deep right field. Racing back is McCarthy at the track. Bye-bye baseball.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 8:05.
And the Brewers having a good time here.
We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Educators Credit Union. I'm a brand new member. I love Educators Credit Union. Oh, by the way, I was just out at this morning. Their online platform is amazing. Best I've ever seen for a financial institution. Trust me on that. Being a parent, we know, can be a busy, busy time. Mind and Money from Educators Credit Union provides an easy way for parents to pay allowance, assign chores, and teach financial lessons all from their phones or computer. And get this, with no monthly fees. Children and teens can receive their own debit card, and parents can set limits and track spending. It's a win-win. Another great perk of being a member. Another great reason why you should join Educators Credit Union. Learn more at ECU.com. Federally insured, of course, by NCUA.
Trees on the Move, offering ideas for outdoor living and beautifying yards with landscape consultation, design, and installation, including retaining walls, paver patios, tree trimming, and more. Trees on the Move has been offering landscape services for over 43 years and now offering stamped and colored concrete drives, patios, and sidewalks. Beautify your yard this year with Trees on the Move. TreesOnTheMove.com.
Planning to planting, Trees on the Move. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
So when you're in a pain spiral, will stem cells or bone marrow harvested from your body and then placed back into your body get you out of it? For those willing to go through a very expensive and not exactly easy process, which is not FDA approved, it might. But for those not willing to pay exorbitant amounts to go through all that, especially knowing that pain relief is not a sure thing, it's not an option. At Rejuvenex, we inject powerful, FDA-approved treatments that reduce inflammation and pain, while improving mobility in hips, shoulders, elbows, and knees. With some patients experiencing relief for greater than 2 years before repeating the process. I'm Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics, and we are in-network with most major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief, really.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Welcome back. Joe Zapecki in studio, Bill McCutcheon on the phone from beautiful Fitchburg, Wisconsin on this lovely Friday here. Hope it's nice where you are. Thanks for tuning in as always, wherever you find us. WTMJ.com, over the air. We're full audio and video now. You can find us on YouTube and links on Facebook and Twitter. You can see the brilliant mug of one Joe Zapecki.
A face for radio.
Careful, because it almost looks like you're drinking a beer there. Joe's got a can of water, looks like a can of beer. All right, so I was very critical. I'm going to ask Bill this question first. Joint Finance Committees going around the state. They're doing four or five of these things. Is it four, Bill, of these public hearings?
It's 4.
Yeah.
They got 3 done, 1 to go.
All right. I've called them a dog and pony show for a couple of reasons. One, everybody gets 2 minutes. I get that. But because they don't really listen to the local leaders in their normal meetings of joint finance, they don't really ask them for their opinion. All of these local leaders show up at these things, and they're sucking up the public's time by giving their little 2-minute spiel on why Milwaukee needs more money or why pick a county in Wisconsin needs more money. And I said the other piece was, I see these representatives and senators, and they're listening intently and nodding their heads. And I said, I don't know that a single idea is being presented that they're going to go, that's really a good idea. I'm going to embrace that. We're going to change everything we're doing. It just seems like a dog and pony show to me. Tell me why I'm wrong, Bill.
Well, there's some truth to that. I was at the hearing in Eau Claire on Tuesday, and it went 7 hours, and the first 2 hours were all school district administrators or chancellors, and so there wasn't a lot of the public, so to speak, in air quotes. So I think overall it would be better if there were more just average citizens, but those folks are working, right? So these folks depend on the government in some way, shape, or form, those who get the most of the airtime at these. And honestly, those folks have generally been in the Capitol meeting with lawmakers behind closed doors already anyway.
But
so
they haven't, Bill, they haven't. Like the state superintendent of public instruction never was invited to speak to the Joint Finance Committee. So she showed up at one of these things. They're not bringing
She was in Eau Claire, yeah. So, but her team has been meeting. Tom McCarthy, her number 3, has been meeting with lawmakers on a literacy package, and I give Tom credit for that. And hopefully we're able to work something out on that. But as I've said multiple times on your show, Steve, these all deals come down to trust. Do you trust who you're dealing with? And Dr. Underly's got some work to do as it relates to the Republican legislature, which is why probably she wasn't invited to give testimony at the hearings. They have informational hearings on certain state budgets. They did not do it on DPI this session. Sort of unusual, but not totally unheard of. And I think the deal was they wanted to get right to the public. But the public becomes, in many ways at these hearings, people who do this for a living. And so there's there's not as much public in the public as you might think at these hearings. So you have a point there for sure.
I'll have producer Brandon find the guy from Spooner. I think we played it yesterday. We'll dig this up. It's brilliance, and I applauded him. I played it a couple times yesterday. But Joe, what do you glean out of these hearings?
I think the idea and the theory behind them is better than the execution has ended up. I think there is a lot of reason to want to see open, transparent, conversations and dialogue, as opposed to people, making deals behind closed doors. I guess the rooms aren't smoke filled anymore. Maybe they're vape filled, if anything. But I think what's happened is all of the actors who have business before the state have, over time, as these have continued to be the way that it happens, kind of figured out how to work the system. I'd actually ask Bill, how old is this, right? I mean, we know Bill was the youngest chief of staff to a governor in American history, so he's been at this for a while.
Did you just call Bill old?
No, he's very storied, is what I was calling him.
I think he did too.
But genuinely, when did this roadshow thing start? I would bet it's within the last 20 to 25 years, right?
All right, Bill. What's the answer?
Yeah, boy, that's a great question. Definitely, it's been in existence. I've been in the Capitol really since 1986, and I don't think they did it in the 80s. They definitely did it in the 90s and in the 00s and throughout the Walker years. So probably 25 years. But back in the late 80s, when Gary George and Marlon Schneider were the co-chairs, they didn't take it on the road. They brought every agency in, made them defend their budget, and then they got right to it. So I think the optics are we're trying to get the public's input on this. Clearly, the Governor Evers has done that now 3 times in his budgets. He and his lieutenant governor, first Mandela Barnes and now Sarah Rodriguez, go on the road together in November and December. And I think Republicans are trying to do the same, is let the public know that we want to hear what you have to say about this. But it turns into more of a professional class that appears at these. And they did change the rules. I'm going to compliment the Finance Committee. After the first 2, where lobbyists like me were there signing up their clients ahead of time to speak, at the 3rd one, they did not allow that to happen. And I don't believe they will in Minocqua either. So you got to go and register yourself. Doesn't matter if you're a school administrator or Joe Schmo that just took a day off of work to speak your mind. You got to show up and put your name in if you want to be heard.
All right, maybe that's how Spooner guy got in here. You ready there, producer Brandon?
I hear a lot about this surplus. How is it possible that we have a surplus if there's all this need out there? If you're flat funding some of the organizations that serve our communities, then you're not doing your job.
I like the question. I don't think he's out of line. I think that's exactly what I would expect someone to ask him. We got the surplus. We've been talking about it forever, and because of midterm, Supreme Court race, can't do anything about it. What are we going to do about the surplus? Yeah. You want the break to think about it, or you want to jump right in?
I think we can jump right in.
Yes,
I think they will spend the recurring amount, which we think is somewhere around $2.8 or $2.9 million on things like schools and tax cuts. That would be my guess. And the one-time money, which is probably closer to $4.5 billion, that'll go on one-time funding, potentially things like the capital budget, building projects, things like that. So I think you will see the surplus be spent down. They'll be cautious about it because the economy seems to be heading in the wrong direction. But the one-time monies will be spent on one-time needs, and the ongoing revenues will be spent for ongoing tax cuts and increased funding for schools would be my guess.
That's all well and good, and I don't disagree with any of it, but I also want to recognize what I think is the frustration inherent in Spooner Man's question, which is, why the hell has politics gotten in the way for so long? The legislature should be working more than 3 months out of the year.
Where's my bell? I would be ringing the bell right now. That's the essence of his question.
Yeah,
why is it taking so long?
He's pissed off. He's like, what are you doing? They were waiting until after election. It's just so I think Republicans, Democrats, anybody in government is really missing the bigger picture if they're failing to understand just how frustrated people are.
Exactly. All right, I think we worked through that.
Yeah.
I love Spooner guy because he's honest. And he's not a lobbyist for anybody except
He's just
himself.
coming out and saying it. What are you doing?
So I'll reverse my dog and pony and say when that happens, that's brilliance.
Yeah.
That is the direct consumer of politics telling you what he's feeling about something very important on his mind that affects his bottom line.
There's upside. And I'll say this, while the JFC stuff might be more dog and pony, the congressional town hall meetings can still be really, really insightful when members of Congress understand this is what people care about at this moment.
All right, we're late for break, but it was worth it. Joe Zepecki, Bill McCoshen on this Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. We'll take a break. Happy 414 Day. I won't even ask you what's your favorite thing about Milwaukee because we all know we have different things. We'll disagree. Quick break.
Spooner, I hear a lot about this surplus. How is it possible that we have a surplus if there's all this need out there? If you're flat funding some of the organizations that serve our communities, then you're not doing your job.
New rules, same old Bob Euchre.
Time call now. Here's a penalty. Offside.
All season long, right here on the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
Welcome to our Everyday Health feature sponsored by the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. We all know that seeing your doctor when you're not feeling well or for regular checkups is important, but what about care specifically for your heart? Here to talk about risk factors for heart disease and when you might want to consider seeing a heart doctor is Dr. Laura Beecher, a cardiologist at the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin. First of all, Dr. Beecher, thanks for being here. Let's start off. What exactly is heart disease?
Heart disease comes in many forms. There are many types, including coronary artery disease, which is what you think about with heart attacks, heart valve disease, congestive heart failure, rhythm issues, and then congenital heart disease that people are born with.
Doctor, what are some of the common risk factors for heart disease?
Risk factors include things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, lack of exercise, a history of smoking or currently smoking, and then really family history and your age.
Are there different types of cardiologists?
Yeah, so there are general cardiologists that treat most heart diseases, and then there are subspecialties within cardiology that do more specific care for things like advanced heart failure and transplant, heart rhythm issues that need specific treatments, and specialists that treat adult patients with congenital heart disease.
Doctor, what quality should somebody look for when they're choosing a cardiologist?
So you want to look for a myriad of things, so experience and education, including that they're board certified and have fellowship training, and then if they have any subspecialty training in your condition particularly, if they work within the same group of physicians as your other specialists or primary care doctor, and what treatments they have available to them.
Dr. Beecher, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Find a doctor who's right for you by visiting freighter.com/heart or calling 414-777-7700.
Imagine getting ahead of your irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C by treating it with Linzess. Then you could start proactively managing your constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
All right, I'm late for news. Got half hour left with Joe Zepecki, Democratic strategist, Bill McCoshen on the Republican side of the aisle. I don't even know what we're going to talk about yet. I have to look at my notes, so I'm just going to say, let's get to the newsroom. That's not being prepared, is it? But it's Friday. I'm already looking forward to the weekend.
I got your back, Steve.
All right, see, she's ready. Yep. She's there. Debbie Loziger from our Breaking News Center. Take it away, Deb.
Thanks, Steve. It's official. Mark Lazary is out as a Bucks owner. Shams Charania of The Athletic reporting that Lasry is completing the sale of his Bucs stake to Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam and Haslam Sports Group for a $3.5 billion valuation today. An election recount is scheduled for this morning after losing the Elmbrook School Board election by 48 votes. Greg Eberhard has been granted a recount after citing potential irregularities or illegalities in his petition. Eberhard ran against Dr. Preetha Diara, for the Area 3 seat, who tells the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel that she respects Eberhard's petition but doesn't anticipate any change. The recount begins at 9 a.m. at the Brookfield District Office and is open to the public. New this morning, calling it the spiritual successor to the streets of Old Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Public Museum is set to offer more details about the gallery it will call Milwaukee Revealed. MPM is building a new $240 million attraction just north of Fiserv Forum. WTMJ has learned the announcement later this morning will promise an experience with streetscapes of both the city's commercial district as well as its neighborhoods. More on that can be found on WTMJ.com. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is down 188 points to 33,841. NASDAQ is down 67 to 12,099, and the S&P is down 13 points to 4,133. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. And taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic, things are moving along really well. We're not seeing really any kind of delays out there. As a matter of fact, the only thing up on the board really is a broken down vehicle on 94 southbound right at the Mitchell interchange off on the right shoulder. Not really even affecting your rides, just something to keep in mind distraction-wise.
Traffic sponsored by Weniger Compressor, the Midwest air compressor experts. Visit pressureisoff.biz.
Weniger Compressor carries high-performance, top-of-the-line compressors. Many offer a lifetime warranty and 60-day return policy. Contact Weniger at pressureisoff.biz.
And your WTMJ 5-day forecast today, mostly sunny with a high of 73 at the lakefront, 82 inland. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 53. Tomorrow, increasing clouds, thunderstorms later on with a high of 70 at the lake, 80 inland. Sunday, rain showers with a chance of thunderstorms, cloudy, breezy with a high of 55. Monday, a few rain or possible snow showers early, cloudy, breezy with a high of 45. And then Tuesday, it'll be sunny with a high of 50 degrees. Right now in Appleton, it's 62. Mukwonago, 64. And in Milwaukee, 68 degrees. I'm Debbie Lazaga, Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:35.
Wisconsin, start your engines! Now is time to make summer plans for fast family fun at Elkhart Lakes Road America. Experience 10 major races from IndyCar to high-thrill NASCAR racing at the best NASCAR track in America. Bring the entire family out to America's National Park of Speed for affordable fun with on-site camping, parking, and free general admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult. Road America offers world-class racing and so much more. Public karting, motorcycle and driving schools, off-road UTV riding, plus plenty of room to host your next company picnic, family reunion, or wedding. Visit roadamerica.com for the full schedule. That's roadamerica.com. Or call 800-365-7223. Road America, America's National Park of Speed.
If you're like me, you always like to add a little something new to the wardrobe. But when money's tight, it makes it harder. And that's why you shop at St. Vincent de Paul for a terrific selection of women's clothing at thrift store prices. Brand names, too, with a selection that's always up to date and looking great. You're going to find something cute at the right price, and you're going to love it. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're going to love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
It's our lowest prices of the season at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Right now, shop unbeatable deals on the things you need for spring. Like $6 off 40-pound bags of Blaine's brand cat food. Sta-Bil gasoline stabilizer is only $11.49 a quart. And your choice of Fast Orange hand cleaner with pumice or Scrubs premium cleaning towels, just $11.99. Rewards members save an extra $1. Don't miss our lowest prices of the season in-store or online at farmandfleet.com. And shop our new store in Grafton, located at 1771 Wisconsin Avenue.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
As we do every Friday, joined by Joseph Pecky, Democratic strategist, Bill McCoshen on the Republican side. I got a great text question from the talking text line, 855-616-1620. We'll start with that. I'll start with Joe. What does it say about our national security that a guardsman IT guy apparently was able to remotely print his own copies of highly classified documents? Foreign hackers take note. What does that say? What does it say about our country?
Well, it says we got to tighten it up. This is inexcusable. This young man should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We have to take this stuff seriously. It certainly looks like law enforcement is moving swiftly to do just that. We were talking a little bit during the break, and I won't go too long on this. I listened to a very interesting perspective on this from a retired 3-star general in a podcast yesterday, who said that there is a difference between the way FBI, CIA, NSA, and the military have to process and handle some of this classified stuff. That lower-ranking enlisted members often are involved in the collection and sort of presentation of this top-secret classified information to more senior commanders. That's always been the case. That's the way the military works. As you pointed out, Steve, the information world in which we live may require some updating to the processes by which the military and the branches thereof handle this classified stuff, because this just can't happen. It just can't.
Bill?
There's two parts of it. I think the first part we're talking about, which is, I don't know how a 21-year-old gets their hands on this anyway. I don't know how you get classified clearance that high at that age and with his rank. I mean, he's in the National Guard. No offense to National Guardsmen. Holy smokes, how did he get his hands on this? That's the first piece. And clearly they found him, and he's going to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But the second piece is what the documents said. So the documents basically said the opposite of what our government has been telling us. They say that Ukraine is losing the war, not winning the war, losing the war, and that we are deeply involved. That's the opposite of what the U.S. government is telling the American people. So the reason I raise that is if you go back to when I was 5, 6 years old, the early 70s, this happened once before during the Vietnam War. And that leaker was heralded as a hero for telling the American public that their government was lying to them and they were getting slaughtered in Vietnam. He was a hero. This kid, he's going to Leavenworth for at least 10 years, maybe longer, and he's never going to be heard from again. So there's a fairly significant difference in how this was handled versus how it was handled. The same thing 50 years ago.
Yeah, also, unpopular war, I would say our efforts in Ukraine, most Americans support, so slight difference there. Do you disagree?
No, fair, but the reality is what our government is telling us may not be what the facts on the ground really are.
Yeah, no question. And Joe and I were talking during the break about there's legitimacy to some of this stuff, right? When it needs to be exposed, when it's clearly dangerous not to have the information out there. As Bill just pointed out, Americans being slaughtered in Vietnam, we're not hearing that.
There's a difference between a whistleblower and a knucklehead.
And there's definitions that tell you what that is.
And this is a knucklehead. And this ain't the Pentagon Papers or Daniel Ellsberg. To me, these are very different. And if for no other reason than I don't have to remind Bill and Steve certainly, but there are no American boots on the ground in Ukraine. Right, we are not seeing, or not seeing the body bags of young Americans coming home from Vietnam like was happening in the 70s.
One clarification: there are some, but they're not sanctioned by the United States. Just people just went over. There's a handful of those.
The volunteer brigades.
Yes.
Yeah, there's special forces over there. Yep.
I want to get to this one because I've been seeing a lot of communication in Republican channels about this. So I'm going to come right to you, Bill, on this one. We know that the Republicans and conservatives suffered a defeat in the Supreme Court election. We know that Republicans were very vested in seeing Tim Michels defeat Governor Tony Evers. And I know firsthand the popularity of many of the reforms of Governor Scott Walker, but I'm seeing a lot of communication, some out in public, some not, about trying to codify some of the Walker-era achievements. Act 10, worker freedoms, limiting power of state agencies, authorizing and expanding school choice. I wanted to get your thoughts as a strategist on the Republican side. Is this how politics should be played, or is this well beyond that?
Well, those reforms, whether it's school choice or the REINS Act, which limits the power of state agencies, Act 10, things like that, those are codified. Not only were they legislation, but they were signed into law by the governor, and then they were challenged in the courts and went, I believe all three of those issues made it to the Wisconsin Supreme Court and were codified. So to undo those will be much trickier than Democrats may think, but not impossible, right? So there's always a legal avenue to challenge something. But I think where Republicans need to spend the next couple of months is defining a kitchen table agenda that Wisconsinites can identify with. I think we argued a little bit about this last week, but the three referenda that were on the same ballot as the Supreme Court were drafted by Republicans, and they passed overwhelmingly. 2 on cash bail, 1 on able-bodied childless adults. They passed overwhelmingly, right? So I still think that the public is with Republicans on issues, but Republicans need to do more to get the message out there on what they are working on and how it benefits people. At the end of the day, people vote on what's in it for them, right? And so, I think I'm very high on Robin Voss and on Devin LeMahieu. I think they're going to figure out a budget that is appealing to voters, not only in current Republican districts, but those suburban voters who we've been leaking for the last 3 cycles.
Here's what's changed. When you see a Derek Van Orden, congressman, asking for a sort of a compromise on abortion, things are changing in the state of Wisconsin. I'll leave it at that. We'll go to break. Bill McCosh and Joe Zepecki. Lots more to get to. We'll do it after this on WTMJ.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Differentiation Officer Brian Wickert reminding home shoppers that working with AccuNet is different and better than working with your bank. Most bank pre-approvals state they've only verified the potential home buyer's credit, but not their income or money for down payment. To us, that's just crazy. AccuNet's rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval tells the seller we've checked out all 3 aspects of your financial health, and that will pay $2,000 if our pre-approval is faulty. Banks don't do that, but they do have a lot of overhead with all their vice presidents and fancy branches. We keep overhead low, which means lower rates and closing costs that are typically $1,000 to $3,000 lower than banks. Most importantly, our loan consultants can show you and your agent how to improve your financing and appraisal contingencies so your offer has the best chance of winning in a multiple offer situation. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Click on the blue button today for your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval. That's ACCUNET.com.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Heiser Automotive. I love talking about Heiser. I have the pleasure and the privilege of driving some great vehicles over the last 4 years. Just picked up a brand new Lincoln Corsair. Still getting to know it. Technology. Every brand is different. You can check out all their brands at their 5 great locations or at Heiser.com, HeiserFord.com. Whether it's pre-owned, new, you can be in a vehicle as soon as tonight. Great programs in addition to their great vehicles. Never pay more than MSRP. No hidden market adjustment fees. Vehicle exchange. You don't love the vehicle, you can exchange it. How cool is that? Roadside assistance for life. Never be fearful that you're going to be stuck somewhere. That's what Heiser brings. That's why customer service is so important to them. 5 convenient locations. Great service department. All great reasons. All great reasons why they say every day, today's your day.
Everyone's journey after a serious crash is different, but no matter the circumstances, the one thing you'll need is help. Our team at Gruber Law Offices is here for you 24/7. Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Oh, having fun on a Friday. Gorgeous weather, at least right now. It's spring, and we embrace spring. I was out on the patio. God,
having a high life?
I didn't drink. No, I don't drink that much during the week. I got to be sharp for the show. You know this. Joseph Pecky, Bill McCoshen joining me. Joe wanted to add one quick comment, and we're going to get to Clarence Thomas.
Yeah, I would just say to my Republican friends a word of caution when it comes to like this. Okay, now we're going to if this and that, then now we're going to go to constitutional amendment and all this stuff. I think one of the challenges Republicans are having with their brand is that people are viewing that like they just don't know when to quit. And it looks like they're not actually interested in the give and take and back and forth. And sometimes I win and sometimes I lose. And, just be careful with some of that stuff. Trying to do by constitutional amendment stuff that you did a dozen years ago. It kind of seems like old news. Like we're supposed to be moving forward. So just a slight word of caution for my conservative friends there.
I concur with that. I think we get into dangerous territory when we try to nullify elections.
Yeah.
And that seems like, not that I'm not supportive of some of those ideas, it just seems like you're trying to nullify an election.
It's like they're defaulting to, if I don't get my way, I'm going to change the rules as opposed to trying to win the argument.
I think they call those political tantrums.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Bill McCoshen, Clarence Thomas, he's getting a lot of benefit from a relationship with a large Republican donor. Is that appropriate for a Supreme Court justice?
I wouldn't advise it. It doesn't appear to be in violation of the rules, which is odd to me, but I wouldn't advise it. I don't think the optics are good. When you're in a public position, you have to be extra careful and cautious about any appearances because optics do matter in politics. The public's perception is the politician's reality, and this doesn't look good.
I think probably my favorite Supreme Court opinion, Buckley v. Vallejo, 1972, by the Supreme Court, long before Clarence Thomas was appointed, talked about not just the threat of corruption, but the perception thereof. And so Bill is nailing it on the head. Like, if there isn't a rule, there ought to be a rule. And if there's not going to be a rule, there ought to be some common sense. Like, if he disclosed this stuff to begin with and then stopped when it started to come out, he's trying to cover something up. If he's benefiting from selling real estate to a close friend who just happens to be a billionaire, who, by the way, he didn't know until he was on the Supreme Court, like, that's a problem. I'm not sure how there's going to be accountability or consequences, but, like, this is a terrible look, and it's bad for the institution of the court that is one of the last vestiges of, like, reasonableness, or was supposed to be until the last 10 years.
Like Congress people trading stocks.
Exactly.
They should not be able to do that.
When the ethics of the court members are in question, the decisions of the court members are in question. It's simple as that.
And it's just a furtherance. Like, what I would argue, and I'm sure Bill might view this differently, like when you go back to Scalia, his passing, and the refusal to even give a hearing to Merrick Garland ahead of the 2012 election. Then, of course, Republicans changing their mind when they got to appoint another justice right before the Amy Coney Barrett seat. There has been a delegitimization of the court, and I think conservatives have done more. I'm not going to say all, but they've done more of that. But this is certainly another strike against conservatives because it is a conservative justice. He is a conservative icon. His wife is wrapped up in all of these conservative causes, which it turns out are being financed by this guy who Justice Thomas is not disclosing the relationship about.
For the record, though, you like some conservatives.
I do.
All right. Thank you for that. All right, we're going to take a break. I want to give us some time for grab bag. Who knows what the guys are going to talk about? Quick question from the text line. Who is on Joe's shirt? Because they're watching live.
Ted Lasso, baby.
Ted Lasso.
Apple show.
Believe.
Always
believe.
That's right.
All right, gentlemen, we'll take a break. Back after this.
You're listening to the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ. Everything you need to know on your way home.
Former President Trump has been charged with around 24 counts, including felonies.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News with John McCure.
My daughter's 30 years old. She's like, what are you reading? I'm like, oh my God, I'm reading the notes from my Hickam pool. She's like, what? Yeah, Major Garrett, you need to read this.
Sandy Max.
This whole experiment shows that birdsong can relieve anxiety and paranoia.
And Greg Metzger.
None of it makes sense, but it rarely does. and the NCAA is involved.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on WTMJ.
Jason, is this right? $4,500 off?
Yes.
What do you mean, yes?
Capital customers get up to $4,500 off a brand new heat and air system.
Hang on.
Now through end of April. And for only $160 a month.
$160 a month?
That's for the best system we sell.
The one that basically lasts forever?
Right.
NASA-level technology? $4,500 off?
It's our job to get all our great customers the value they need now.
Okay, look. I get that everything's getting more expensive.
Gotta keep trucking.
And your money's never going to be worth more than it is today.
You just made my argument.
But you gotta be kidding me!
Or for as low as $65 a month, trade in your old furnace or AC for a brand new one.
65 what?
Dollars, Seth. $65.
Are you crazy?
As a Fox.
Don't give away the UV light.
And let's give them a free UV light.
That's worth $900.
The Keep Truckin' sale ends April 30th, so call Capital today or go online at callcapitalcares.com for complete details.
The highly successful Mineshaft restaurant in Hartford is hiring an experienced bar manager with income upwards of $60,000 a year with tips and always busy. Nights, weekends, and holidays, but the schedule has flexibility. Tell your kids. Inquire today, start next week.
Build your wealth.
I want to talk about annuities and variable life insurance policies. And I'm going to come right out and say that I've never been a fan of either. In fact, in over 30 years, I have rarely recommended annuities to clients. And in that same time, I've never recommended a variable life insurance policy. Now, it's always a matter of opinion, and there are two sides to every story. I just want to make sure that you've heard both sides for both options. So if you're looking at those types of products, give us a call, because it's prudent to hear all sides. At the very least, we can give you the pros and cons and help you make a good decision. I'm Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a good karma brand station. Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show.
Hey, don't just listen. You can now also watch the Steve Scaffidi Show and all of your favorite WTMJ shows. We know this one's your favorite. Streaming live on video from our studios at the Avenue. You can watch online at WTMJ.com. The mobile app, of course. The WTMJ YouTube page. And on our social channels, look while you listen. Clever little tag phrase there. With the WTMJ video stream, you can see Joe's wonderful Ted Lasso shirt on today before he heads off to vacation land. Where are you going on vacation again?
The Dominican Republic.
Oh, interesting. I've been there a couple times. Very nice.
By way of East Moline, Illinois this weekend.
Odd route. Very odd route, but you be you in the only unique Joe Zapecki way. That's how you're going to get there. Enjoy yourself. All right, Joe, you're up. Bill, you're up first on Grab Bag.
I'm going to give you two. I like to keep them Wisconsin focused. So my first is a shout out to Joe Pavelski. Joe is the assistant captain of the Dallas Stars. He is from Plover, Wisconsin. He won a national championship with the Wisconsin Badgers. He became this week the 11th American-born player in the 126-year history of the National Hockey League to score 1,000 points. Joe was a seventh-round draft pick out of Wisconsin. He's my partner in the Janesville Jets, and I want to give him a shout-out. The second is a very little covered story this week. While the two referenda related to cash bail did pass and will change the Constitution, they required enabling legislation. True story, Governor Evers signed that enabling legislation on Wednesday of last week. So the day after the election, Van Wangard, state senator from Racine, was instrumental in getting that done. That law has already been put into use in Dane County, where a Dane County judge, yes, I said Dane County, required $100,000 bail for a convicted criminal. So the law is already working. Congrats, Van Wangard.
Yeah, all right.
Let's hear it for Little D Democracy, and that's where we end on mine. Every couple of months, as I'm, usually walking is when I tend to think, I realize that 2026, just a few short years from now, will be the 250th birthday of this great country we love so much.
It'd be a big deal.
It should be a big deal. And for the first time yesterday, I sort of the tumblers clicked into place, and I realized that the next presidential term, whoever that is, will be the president who sort of oversees that year-long celebration. And then I went, maybe some of my conservative friends need to be like, think about it that way. Like, you want Donald J. Trump to be at the helm for that? I'm here to do everything I can to peel those last couple of gettable Republicans off of the Trump train and get them onto Nikki Haley or Tim Scott or Mike Pompeo or Mike Pence. Anything. Save yourselves, Republicans. And remember, and the thing about the 250 years, just think about what a extraordinary amount of time that is, and also what a blink of an eye is.
Mm-hmm.
This blue marble we're floating through the universe on is 4.5 billion with a B years old. And the American experiment is not even 250. We got to take this stuff seriously. We can't take it for granted.
4th of July is going to be a fun time during 2026.
Yeah, I mean it is every year.
It is, but I'm talking times 100. This is going to be a
times
big deal.
250.
Oh, there you go. See, that's why he's here with that kind of wisdom. Oh, by the way, from the text line, great show as always. Love you guys. And I think they mean you guys, not me.
You're here every day.
And I can tell you, Bill McCoshen, Plover, just south of Stevens Point, just east of Wisconsin Rapids. I know my geography in the state of Wisconsin. Trust me.
That's right. You
All
got
right.
it.
Hockey your weekend there, Bill. Joe off traveling. You'll
Watching
not be
some
here.
basketball, then
Yes.
we're going on vacation.
All
So
right.
I won't be here next week.
And we'll have a special guest to fill in for you.
That's right.
We'll see how they do.
Please treat them as please treat them more respectfully than you
Come
treat
on
me.
now. Stop with the criticism. Gentlemen, have a great weekend. We'll be back after the news with another special guest right here on WTMJ.
You're listening to the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
When it's time for a new lawnmower, buying local is important. Purchasing one from Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment means you're well taken care of after the sale. Their knowledgeable staff handles the warranty and parts, can answer all of your questions, and is available to do tune-ups and repairs. Check out the impressive line of lawnmowers on display at the Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment showroom in Muskego. And tune in to the Fix-It Show this Saturday morning at 7, when an expert from Olson's will answer all your power equipment questions.
Hey, this is Steve Scaffidi for Educators Credit Union. Being a parent can be busy. We all know that. Mind and Money from Educators Credit Union provides an easy way for parents to pay allowance, assign chores, and teach financial lessons all from their phones or computer with no monthly fees. Children and teens can even receive their own debit card, and parents can set limits and track spending. It's a win-win and just another great perk of being a member. Learn more at ecu.com, federally insured by NCUA.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
The place to get caught up, to speak out, to connect and be entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 10 o'clock, it's 58 degrees. Today, mostly sunny with a high of 73 at the lakefront and 82 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Finn Askin. There have been 9 fire deaths in Milwaukee so far this year. This after the remains of a woman and a toddler were found inside a burned-out home on the city's south side. A 27-year-old woman and a 16-month-old girl died in the large house fire near 19th and Burnham on Wednesday. Their bodies were discovered Thursday. Assistant Fire Chief Dwayne Smoots.
There was just so much fire, and then the buildings collapsing. There was no way for me to safely have my firefighters work to go through the rubble, and that's when DPW came through. They helped with their heavy equipment to help us go through the rubble, see if there was anyone there.
The cause of the fire remains under investigation. And the state is out with another red flag warning today.
The warning for counties in central Wisconsin means the risk for wildfire remains very high today. This is the third day a red flag has gone up. The DNR has responded to nearly 100 wildfires across the state in the past week, the largest at Fort McCoy in western Wisconsin, where the Arcadia fire has burned 2,900 acres and is currently being managed. That fire likely started from a controlled burn. The base says it will investigate the matter and why a controlled burn was in place during a dangerous week after that fire is contained. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
The Milwaukee Bucks playoff run starts Sunday at 4:30 in the afternoon against the Bulls or the Heat. Today, the Bucks and the city will detail guidelines meant to ensure a safe experience in and around the Deer District. Who's on third bar owner Bobby Wiltigan tells WTMJ he expects a smooth playoff run.
They have a great plan. I think they're going to use some
Video surveillance in the area because, being anonymous is one way to get away with things, but video surveillance in the area, I think they're going to have some limited capacity down there as well, and they're going to have some downtown ambassadors helping people get to and from the games.
Last May, shootings outside the Deer District following a playoff game left more than 20 people injured. And continuing with the Bucks, Giannis and crew back in the playoff means excitement in the Deer District outside Pfizer Forum. And these postseason games give the city the chance to shine beyond downtown.
What does Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce President Tim Sheehy see as the real benefit for Milwaukee when the Bucks are in the playoffs?
That it puts Milwaukee on this international stage.
Locally, business picks up for bars, restaurants, and hotels.
The dollars and cents are great for the community. The taxes are great for local and state government. But I think we all really benefit from just being on a global stage during NBA playoffs, which are a worldwide phenomenon.
Sandy Max, WTMJ News.
And calling it the spiritual successor to the streets of Old Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Public Museum is set to offer more details about the gallery it will call Milwaukee Revealed. This new $240 million museum will be located north of Pfizer Forum. WTMJ has learned the announcement later this morning will promise an experience with streetscapes of both the city's commercial district as well as its neighborhood. More on that at WTMJ.com. Sports traffic and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
It's WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Sister Bay Furniture. Wisconsin weather can be tough on all of us. A snowy gray morning can quickly evolve into a bright, warm afternoon, inviting you to fire up the grill and enjoy some quality outdoor time. Sister Bay Furniture is premium, high-quality outdoor furniture, built in Wisconsin, built for Wisconsin. Built from premium and sustainable materials, Sister Bay designs and builds patio furniture to survive years of Wisconsin weather. That's commercial-grade quality for your outdoor space. Customize your Sister Bay set. Pick from several different styles and colors to fit your unique outdoor space. Need professional help? Sister Bay Furniture offers a team of in-house design experts. They can help you plan and create the outdoor space of your dreams. Don't wait until the next beautiful day this year. Get out to their showroom today. It's located in Sussex on Executive Drive, or visit their website, sisterbayfurniture.com, to shop the entire selection. Sister Bay Furniture, built in Wisconsin for Wisconsin.
It's our lowest prices of the season at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Right now, shop unbeatable deals on the things you need for spring. Like $6 off 40-pound bags of Blaine's brand cat food. Sta-Bil gasoline stabilizer is only $11.49 a quart. And your choice of Fast Orange hand cleaner with pumice or Scrubs premium cleaning towels just $11.99. Rewards members save an extra buck. Don't miss our lowest prices of the season in-store or online at farmandfleet.com. And shop our new store in Grafton, located at 1771 Wisconsin Avenue.
St. Vincent de Paul Milwaukee seeks a hands-on facility manager to maintain our thrift store and meal program buildings, grounds, and equipment. In this full-time position with benefits, you'll oversee all facility contracted services and perform light maintenance and repairs to buildings and equipment. Technical training in basic electricity, plumbing, carpentry, and/or mechanical is required, and a degree is a plus. Go to svdpmilw.org to learn more and apply. Good luck.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
The Milwaukee Bucks are gearing up for their playoff run as they await the winner of tonight's Eastern Conference play-in game for the 8th seed between the Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat. Winner of that game moves on to Milwaukee for a best-of-7 series beginning Sunday afternoon, starting at 4:30 in Milwaukee. Behind a Rowdy Tellez 2-run homer in the first inning and a sacrifice fly in the top of the 10th, the Brewers go on to win in San Diego, beating the Padres by a final of 4-3. Colin Ray, who got the spot start for the Brew Crew, he was the story of the game, going 5 2/3 innings while only giving up 1 earned run and striking out 6 batters. The Brewers are back at it tonight in San Diego. Eric Lauer is slated to get the start. First pitch is set for 8:40. You can tune into full coverage right here on WTMJ, your home of the Milwaukee Brewers, beginning at 8:05. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
And it's official. Mark Lassery is out as a Bucks owner. Shams Charania of The Athletic reporting that Lassery is completing the sale of his Bucks stake to Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam and Haslam Sports Group today. And taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. Everything's looking good out there right now. 94 eastbound from the zoo to downtown is 7 minutes. 43 southbound from Brown Deer into downtown is 11 minutes. And 4394 northbound from Layton to downtown is 7 minutes.
Traffic sponsored by Weniger Compressor, the Midwest air compressor experts. Visit pressureisoff.biz.
Weniger Compressor services all makes and models and carries high-performance compressors with a lifetime warranty. Contact Weniger at pressureisoff.biz.
Weniger Compressor.
Here's a look at your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, mostly sunny with a high of 73 at the lake and 82 inland. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 53 degrees. Saturday, increasing clouds with thunderstorms late, high of 70 at the lake and 80 inland. Sunday, rain showers, chance for thunderstorms again, cloudy and breezy with a high of 55. Monday, a few rain and snow showers early, cloudy and breezy with a high of 45. And Tuesday, sunny with a high of 50. In Milwaukee right now, it is 64 degrees. I'm Finn Askin, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
Breaking down the biggest stories, talking about what really matters, and bringing you the biggest forum to let your voice be heard. Now, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at The Avenue, here's Steve Scaffidi.
It helps if I turn my mic on. Good morning, everybody. 10:08 on this Friday. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for tuning in, as always. For those who are now watching, welcome, because now, as my guest is waving, we are now live on audio and video streaming wherever you get that content. My guest, and just before we get to Deb Andraka, my state rep guest, and good morning, by the way.
It's great to be here.
One of the things we're going to do in the next 6 to 10 months is probably we're going to start bringing a lot more of our elected representatives. One of the failures of talk radio, news talk radio, is that we often talk about these things, but we don't talk to the people who are actually involved in decision making. So my initiative, my idea is to bring these folks in both sides of the aisle to have conversations. And it'll be open-ended, long form. We're going to find out shortly here where your district is, some of the big issues that the folks in your district are talking about. So welcome to Deb Andraka. She's the Wisconsin State Assembly representative from the 23rd District. Tell us where that is.
The 23rd is the northern suburbs of Milwaukee. So starting in Whitefish Bay, Fox Point, Bayside, River Hills, Brown Deer, and southern Mequon and Thiensville. So a little bit of Milwaukee and a little bit of Ozaukee counties.
And you've been in office since?
2020.
So relatively new.
Learn something new every day.
What drove you to politics?
Well, I got into politics because I was working as a substitute teacher, elementary school teacher, and I had to go through lockdown drills. And we had a lockdown drill that went awry, and I saw the impact that it had on my students. I saw the impact that lockdown drills were having on my own kids and their friends. Decided to get involved, started working with Moms Demand Action, started taking volunteers to the state capitol, and realized pretty quickly that nothing would change with our gun laws unless we change some of our legislators. So in 2020, there's a lot of frustration about the way things were going, and so I took out my frustration by running for office. Not everybody goes to that extreme length, but I did, and I won, and it's been a pleasure to serve ever since.
So it was on our list of topics. Let's talk about it. We've obviously had a number of high-profile school shootings, and unfortunately, there's still people in this country who sort of push those away and don't like to talk about them. That's not this show. So as a mom, right? Mm-hmm. As a educator, as a legislative leader, the question that I get asked a lot is, what can we do? What are some of your answers?
Well, I got involved because I wanted to make a difference. You can always reach out to your legislators and let them know that you support common sense gun laws. We have had 151 mass shootings in this country since the beginning of the year. We are the only country in the world like us that this happens. And so we know what works. We know that other places experience extreme mental health crises. We know that other countries have people similar to us, but we're the only country in the world that seems to have these shootings over and over and over again. And what we're starting to see, fortunately, is other states taking steps, red states and blue states, towards common sense gun laws.
Walk me through some of the things they're doing.
Well, we all know what happened in Tennessee, unfortunately, with the school shooting there. Republican Governor Bill Lee has just issued an executive order asking the legislature to have stricter background checks and extreme risk protection orders. just yesterday, Michigan signed into law extreme risk protection orders, background checks on all gun sales. So we are starting to see the tide shift, and it couldn't be it could be a second in time. I mean, these are things that we need desperately in Wisconsin because people are dying, and we're heading into the summer, and we know that's a time when gun violence spikes.
As somebody like me who talks to a lot of people, you do it as a leader, I do it as a radio talk show host. One of the things I've seen over the last few years is that there's been a shift, even among conservatives, on this issue. It's the failure to wrap our heads around this problem in any real way. We have 400 million plus guns. I'm a gun owner, strong supporter of the Second Amendment. But as I often say, with rights come responsibilities.
Absolutely.
And I think what you just mentioned, the fact that we've seen Republican-leaning states actually say, you know what, this is not the right path. We shouldn't just have unlimited access with no restrictions. When we have dangerous people, they shouldn't have guns or that firepower so they can kill people in schools or churches and the like. And I think that reality is shifting the conversation. I mentioned this to somebody off the show yesterday. One of the big issues in the Supreme Court race was abortion. Another issue that's simmering here is gun violence. And if Republicans and Democrats don't find some common ground on this, I think people that are elected, some of these people are going to lose their jobs because there's anger out there.
Well, I should clarify that I, too, am a gun owner, and I have my concealed carry permit. And so, we as Democrats get painted as, oh, we just want to take everyone's guns away. And I always point back to the fact that Wisconsin has a long, proud history of hunting and responsible gun ownership and responsible gun rights. I did not grow up having to do lockdown drills. No one my age had to do it. Something has shifted in this country. Something has shifted in our state. While we're seeing other red states move towards common sense gun laws, laws that we know that a vast majority of Wisconsinites support. In Wisconsin, just the other day, one of my colleagues introduced a bill that would allow teachers to have guns in the classroom. This is not the direction that anyone wants the state to be heading. And to allow teachers to have guns in classrooms without doing anything to address the fact that Wisconsin has some of the weakest gun laws in the state is completely irresponsible.
If we asked in let's say an advisory referendum next time we have a big statewide election, would you support red flag laws, stricter background checks? I mean, there's a bunch of different measures that most people think are reasonable accommodations to lower the number of people killed in mass shootings. Where do you think the numbers would fall on that advisory referendum?
Well, if the most recent Marquette poll is any indication, it said that 81% of Wisconsin voters support a red flag law. It said that more than 75% support ensuring that every single gun sale has a background check. And more than half want us to keep the age to purchase firearms at 21 or older. So we know what a majority of voters would say. I think we need to be looking at introducing legislation, and we need to have public hearings. I mean, these bills, background checks, red flag laws, safe storage laws, we have introduced these bills session after session after session, and they have never, ever been allowed a public hearing. Governor Evers had a special session where he tried to force the legislature to come together and at least discuss. They gavelled in and gavelled out as they have consistently over and over and over again. So we know what works. We need to have public hearings, and we need to have a vote.
How about a state advisory referendum or constitutional amendment says it can't gavel in and gavel out of special sessions?
That would be a good one, but it would be an advisory referendum, so they might gavel in and gavel out that too.
My guest is State Representative Deb Andraka. If you have a question for Deb, we'll certainly read it to her, 855-616-1620. We're going to talk about a lot of things today. You mentioned public hearings. We're going to get to that. There's I called it a dog and pony show. You may disagree. Going on right now with the Joint Finance Committee. We'll discuss that and more with my guest right here on WTMJ.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Swing and a drive to right and deep.
That's great, but this is a different kind of drive. Join WTMJ as we support the Brewers Community Foundation, benefiting the Wisconsin Humane Society on Thursday, April 20th in the parking lot of American Family Field. The Brewers will be accepting supplies and donations to help create a better life for our four-legged friends. It's the Brewers Community Foundation Drive, Thursday, April 20th, starting at 7 a.m.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Badger Fence. When my wife, Kathy, and I were deciding what fence to put up at our beautiful estates. Just kidding. We went with Badger Fence. They've been in the metro Milwaukee area since 1945. Proud member of the Better Business Bureau with an A+ rating. Doesn't get any better than that. Member of the National Association of the Remodeling Industry. If privacy, security, and a wide choice of fence styles are top of mind when you're choosing your fence, then Badger Fence is the right company. Licensed, bonded, and insured, using the finest materials in the industry with more than 75 years of experience. Yes, 75 years. Badger Fence knows that premium fence materials, design options, and affordability all play an important role in your overall satisfaction. So whether you want wood, which is what we chose, ornamental, chain link, even PVC, they can help you choose the right materials for your fencing project at the most competitive prices. We love our new wood fence. Absolutely love it. And when my wife Kathy and I were shopping around for fence companies, we chose Badger Fence. To set up an appointment to talk with Badger Fence about your project, go to badgerfence.com. Tell them Steve from WTMJ sent you.
Headlines, texts, emails, the TV, the computer, the phone, even your smartwatch. Seems like it never ends. Market volatility can lead to anxiety and planning paralysis. No surprise Americans report being stressed about their investment and retirement plans. Turn down the media roar. Dial up the planning. Put Annex Wealth Management on your side for investment and retirement guidance that includes tax and estate planning. Head to annexwealth.com. Click the Get Started button. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That's Annex Wealth Management.
Every day and everywhere they go, these followers of Jesus, they bring the echo of Easter with them.
Easter may be past, but it isn't over. Learn how we can bring the hope and glad good news of Christ's resurrection into the lives of those we meet. Raising the Praise with guest speaker Pastor John Nunes this week on The Lutheran Hour.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
Spooner, I hear a lot about this surplus. How is it possible that we have a surplus if there's all this need out there? If you're flat funding some of the organizations that serve our communities, then you're not doing your job.
We are joined in studio by State Representative Deb Andraka, 23rd District, if I remember correctly. All right, so we just played a little clip there of a guy from Spooner talking about the, and you and I were chatting, so you probably didn't even hear it. He basically asked the question. A lot of people show up and they ask about unfunded things in their communities. What can we spend the money on? And he linked it to the budget surplus. And I asked Bill and Joe about this in the 9 o'clock hour. So what should we do with this surplus that we are sitting on, which is $7 billion roughly?
I ask that when I visit scout troops all the time, and I think I get better answers than I get from some of my colleagues.
Interesting.
Yes, we have a $7 billion budget surplus. And partly that we have that because the state has not been returning enough money to local municipalities. I mean, your local municipality is in charge of your police and your fire and all of the things that keep our community safe and running, and they have been doing more with less for almost a decade. So if you look at Milwaukee, that's probably the pointy end of the spear. They're in the worst straits right now, budget-wise, but every single municipality all across the country is scrambling to find enough money to recruit and train qualified police officers, fire, dispatch, ambulance. All of those things are straining budgets, and it's partly because the state has not basically kept up its bargain and has not given a fair share back to municipalities, and that's something that we desperately need to do.
So I've heard behind the scenes, and sometimes elected officials will be in here and they'll say, yeah, we're having conversations. Should the public anticipate that there is some sort of an agreement to up that shared revenue in our near future?
This has been a drumbeat for many years,
yes,
but this is the first time I have heard real discussions about it. So I am cautiously optimistic as you can be, that we will see some sort of increase for our local municipalities.
As the budget process goes on here, and we do this every 2 years, and we are in the situation kind of like last time. The governor produced a budget. The Republican-led legislature said, yeah, we'll look at it, but we're not going to really consider any of that stuff. We're going to craft our own budget, which the governor, when you came to an agreement, signed last time. Do you anticipate a similar process this time? What will be different? What might we see that both sides can agree on?
Well, in 2020, which was my first year in the legislature, it was a very strange budget year. We had a lot of ARPA funding, COVID relief funds pouring into the state. So it's a really awkward baseline from which to draw any conclusions. A lot of the governor's priorities were also funded by some of those funds, and so I think it was a little bit easier to reach a compromise because you had outside funds that could be used for education and things like that. So this year, we have a $7 billion surplus, which also makes it, hopefully, a little bit easier. I don't know where we would be if we were in a deficit situation, but because...
Does it make it easier?
I would hope so, because...
Don't you just argue about what to spend the surplus on?
Well, myself, I want to see the budget, the surplus, particularly spent on one-time funds, one-time expenses, because if you're funding programs that are going forward, obviously that money is going to run out. A budget is great for capital expenses, roads and buildings and things like that, and also to address the probably more than a decade long of maintenance that we've been deferring over and over again. So I think we can reach a compromise. We should. I'm a big fan of divided government. I think that's where you get some of the best ideas, and I'm cautiously optimistic. The one difference in a state budget that is different from a federal budget is there's no shutdown. So it's not like Washington where it reverts to last year's spending. Mm-hmm. So all of us want to see a budget signed by the end of June, and I hope that everyone will be able to come together to do that. I was at the first Joint Finance Committee hearing. People had a lot to say. You had to get there by 6, 7 o'clock in the morning in order to have a ticket to speak.
Are those productive?
I think that they are. I think they're very important. And whenever I talk to groups and constituents, I urge them to reach out to their elected officials. So even though you have a group of legislators, you get 2 minutes, you get to speak your piece, at least I can speak for myself, some of those stories are very memorable because when you're in the legislature, it's a lot of budget numbers, it's a lot of policy, and it's a little bit removed from the day-to-day. And when you hear someone come in and, for example, a 14-year-old comes in and talks about having to hide under her desk in a lockdown drill, you can put a face on that kind of policy. And those are the things that stick with us. And myself, those are the things that I think about when I'm going to vote on the assembly floor.
Should there have been a hearing in the city of Milwaukee?
Absolutely, and Madison. I mean, we had 4 joint finance hearings. None of them were in Milwaukee or Madison, the 2 most populous parts of the state.
So I know the political answer to that. Why is that something that they're averse to doing?
You'll have to ask the people who scheduled those hearings to get the right answer on that. I guess that's above my pay grade.
Our guest in studio, Deb Andraka, 23rd District State Assembly in Wisconsin. We'll wrap it up. I want to ask you about the Supreme Court race, those results, what that means for the future, with our guest after this on WTMJ.
You're listening to the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
You can have the power of Jeff Wagner. My head is getting ready to explode. In the palm of your hands, whenever and wherever you want. Politics is the art of the possible. Just look up the Jeff Wagner Show on Apple, Spotify, the WTMJ app, or wherever you get your podcasts. I would make an argument that if you're going to be offended, I think saying you are a demanding or entitled white woman is at least as offensive as calling somebody a Karen. And don't forget, you can still listen to me live from noon to 3 on WTMJ.
What if you could build a 6-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a 6-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and executive producer of a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept called the retirement discount. It gives you more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and your money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're 50 or older and want a bigger, better retirement, call Mitch Lyons Wealth to get a free copy of this brand new movie at 1-800-578-3535. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you'll get it completely free. Plus, I'll include a copy of my book, Retirement of Steel. And I'll even pay your shipping and handling. No credit card required. Call right now. 1-800-578-3535. That's 1-800-578-3535. 3535.
Hi, it's Sandy Max of Wisconsin's Afternoon News, and guess what? I am embarking on my first adventure with WTMJ fans, and I want you to come along. Join me in October with Journeys Connect for the Beatles and More, an England adventure. We'll start in London, then visit Liverpool, Windsor, Oxford, Stonehenge, and more. Journeys Connect makes traveling easy with their unique experiences and take care of every aspect of your travel arrangements. For more information, email me at sandy@wtmj.com or call 847-606-6065.
Mark Tosher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Well, are you ready for a new shower? If you are, Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for over 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit kswisconsin.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you. Again, that's kswisconsin.com.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Your pain is likely due to a wear and tear process called osteoarthritis. Now, when you combine that with being a little overweight or not being as active as you'd like to be, you get into a downward pain spiral. At Rejuvenex, we control pain by precisely targeting and treating the areas where your pain lives, like shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees, with our powerful FDA-approved treatments that cushion and lubricate the affected areas to deliver long-lasting pain relief. Now, like maintenance on a car, to maintain your relief, our team of physicians will follow up with you roughly every 6 to 18 months. My name is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics. Rejuvenex is in-network with most major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief. Really.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
We are joined in studio by State Representative Deb Andraka from the 23rd District State Assembly. Big Supreme Court race.
Big.
Judge Janet Protasiewicz, pretty convincing victory. What does that suggest to you about where Wisconsin goes from here forward?
Well, it's huge, and it is a victory that shows that people want someone who, and a court that is going to back what a majority of Wisconsinites want and what they feel, the direction they feel that the state should be heading. And for the longest time, we have had a court that, the Wisconsin Supreme Court almost was able to overturn an election that was decided, as we all know now, that was free and fair. So we've been all looking at the Supreme Court wondering what they would do next, and now more of us are confident that they're going to make sure that we have the will of the people in mind.
How much of that win, that victory for Judge Janet, has to do with abortion/women's rights?
Well, the more we dig into the number, the more we see that it was a huge factor, because whether you are Republican, whether you are Democrat, we know across the state that a majority of voters want some sort of access to abortion. We want to make sure that women who are pregnant can access the full range of care that their doctors say that they need. And I never ever thought that I would be in a state where my two daughters have less rights than I grew up with. And what's particularly galling to a lot of the women that I speak with is that the legislature seems to think that a law written in 1849, before women even had the right to vote, oh, that's okay, we'll just keep that on the books. No. If it was a huge deciding factor, the fact that we never had public hearings to discuss it, well, that's on Republicans.
Is there a compromise position that enough Republicans and Democrats could agree on that would work?
I think the compromise is what we had under Roe versus Wade, and that is what we want to return to. It worked very well for a very long time, and that is, we hear some of my Republican colleagues talking about a number of weeks or this or that, and what the vast majority want is to just go back to Roe versus Wade.
Abortion just passed the 6-week abortion ban, so interesting times indeed. I wish I had more time, but it's a pleasure to speak with you as always. I'm sure you'll be back. You may be back as soon as next week. State Representative Deb Andraka, love the conversation.
Thanks, Steve, and happy Milwaukee Day.
414, absolutely. Thanks for reminding me about that. We'll take a break for news here. Our news time is 10:32 from the Breaking News Center. Finn Askin.
Thanks, Steve. The body of a man was pulled from Lake Michigan near Veterans Park in Milwaukee Thursday evening. According to TMJ4 News, the Milwaukee Fire Department says a fisherman noticed the body in the water and contacted authorities. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office is investigating the incident. And it's official, Mark Lassery is out as a Bucks owner. Shams Charania of The Athletic reporting that Lassery is completing the sale of his Bucks stake to the Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam and Haslam Sports Group. An election recount is scheduled for this morning. After losing the Elmbrook School Board election by 48 votes, Greg Eberhardt has been granted a recount. After citing potential irregularities or illegalities in his petition, Eberhardt ran against Dr. Paritha Kurujiyara for the Area 3 seat, who tells Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel that she respects Eberhardt's petition but doesn't anticipate any change. And time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is down 222 points, the S&P 500 is down 20 points, and the NASDAQ is down 81 points. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Everything's looking good on the roads right now. 94 inbound from Highway 16 to the Zoo is 10 minutes. Zoo to downtown is 5. 41 northbound from Zoo to Highway Q is 14 minutes. And 4145 southbound from Highway Q to the Zoo is 13 minutes.
Traffic sponsored by the Wisconsin State Fair.
Score Wisconsin State Fair group sales deals. Only $12 per ticket for an order of 50 or more until April 30th. Check out the groups page at wistatefair.com.
Here's a look at your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, mostly sunny with a high of 73 at the lake and 82 inland. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 53. Saturday, increasing clouds and thunderstorms late with a high of 70 at the lake and 80 inland. Sunday, rain showers and a chance for thunderstorms with a high of 55. Monday, a few rain and snow showers early, cloudy and breezy with a high of 45 degrees. And Tuesday, sunny with a high of 50 degrees. I'm Finn Askin, Saturday Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:34.
All right, I need 2 callers for virtual baseball, sponsored by Signing Unlimited. Chance to win a very valuable prize. Prizes. 855-616-1622. Contestants for virtual baseball. We do it every Friday at 10:35. Join us in the fun after this on WTMJ.
Everyone associates the coming of spring with the aroma of flowers. But even before the first hyacinth or crocus emerges, the first hint of spring smells like worms. Eric Smith here from Austin Plumbing, Heating, and Air. And maybe it's just the farmer in me, but I swear, if you put your ear to the muddy ground after the snow has melted, you can smell and hear the worms at work, moving the earth around, signaling something is different, something new, yet ageless. Mother Nature cycles brings hope. Like the first day you see those little nubs on the trees. Everything whispers, it's gonna be all right. I'm not here to sell you anything today. No trying to convince you to call us, buy from us, nothing like that. I just wanted to remind you that with all that's going on in the world, there's an order to things. What appeared to be dead returns to life. Spring is doing her thing. Happy spring from Team Austin. Online at teamaustin.com.
We've all experienced that feeling of lacing up a brand new pair of shoes.
And for some reason, it always felt like new shoes made you run faster, jump higher, and of course, look better.
Yeah, it was almost magical.
A brand new set of tires on your car or truck will instantly give you that same magical feeling.
Courtney, I couldn't agree with you more. A new set of treads always makes your vehicle look better, but more importantly, allows you to stop faster and grip the road a whole lot better.
Which is necessary when the weather is bad and driving conditions are poor. You'll appreciate having the extra traction.
Remember, there isn't a tire brand on the planet we can't get.
Everything from Goodyear Continental and Kelly to Dunlop, General, and Pirelli. If we sell it, we install it.
Plus, every tire we sell automatically comes with free flat tire repair. So be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Such a refreshing change. Richlands.
The grass is cut, the hot dogs are hot, and the beer is ice cold.
Right and deep. Oh, baby, get up.
It's time for virtual baseball on the Steve Scaffidi Show. Brought to you by Siding Unlimited.
All All right, let's do it. We do it every Friday, 10:35. Thanks to the folks at Siding Unlimited. Today is no different. Let's meet our contestants. First up, home team, Joanne from Menominee Falls. Hi, Joanne.
Hello.
How are you today on this gorgeous Friday here in Wisconsin?
Loving this weather.
All right. For the folks who don't know Joanne from Menominee Falls, which might be a lot of people, tell us about yourself in 30 seconds or less.
Sure, I'm married, and I have a 4-year-old daughter, and she pretty much keeps me busy 24/7, so just enjoying this beautiful week with her.
Having a 4-year-old grandson, I completely agree with that assessment. They keep you busy, and I only see him like once a week, so I can imagine that you're busy. So thanks for joining us on Virtual Baseball. Your opponent, the away team, is Stephen from Brookfield. Welcome to the show, Stephen.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Great first name. Tell us about Stephen from Brookfield, something that might interest our audience.
Well, I'm a local municipal worker. Again, just out here enjoying the weather. I love riding my Harley around, so I'm just glad to be outside in the sun.
Yeah, and I just had a buddy drove his Harley over to the house last night. It's Harley season early this year, which is very nice.
It is. It's like a little teaser, though,
That's
because
right.
the weekend and everything. It's going to be kind of, I think, a blow of reality. But
A little different weather, let's just say. All right, so Joanne and Stephen, producer Brandon will lay out the ground rules as we get ready to play virtual baseball. Sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Brandon, take it away.
All right. Good morning, guys. Joanne and Steven. There are two players, of course. That's Joanne. She's the home team. Steven is the away team. Each player gets a separate set of 10 highlights. Each set will include an equal number of hits and outs. They are numbered 1 through 10. You get 5 selections. After your 5 swings, we only record the hit in the highlight, not the run scored in the highlight. After those 5 swings, the number of runs is tallied, and that becomes your final score. If there is a tie, there was a tie last week, the home team will try to walk it off. In this case, Joanne, if there is a tie, you will try to walk it off. The first caller is always the home team, which was Joanne, and we're off and running.
All right, Stephen, you're the away team, so you're going to bat first, as he said. Producer Brandon, 10 possible selections. You're going to make 5. What's your first choice?
I'm going to go with lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7, Joey Weimer.
The 1-1. Swing to bouncer, left side. Guillorme has it and throws out Weimer to end the inning.
Ooh, proverbial tough start, but doesn't mean anything. You got 4 more at-bats. Let's do something in the second at bat.
Though, right?
Yes, only can get better. What's your choice?
Let's go bookend. We'll take number 10.
Number 10 is Christian Yelich.
Big Ribby out there if you can get him home to pitch. Yelich bouncer hit to first. Alonso's got that one, and with Scherzer covering, the inning is over.
All right.
Tough start.
Yeah, that is a tough start. You got the bad Christian Yelich there. All right, what's your third selection?
God bless it. Let's go 6.
6.
Number 6 is Owen Miller.
Miller, ground ball towards the middle. Swanson fields, throws after a spin. No pick from Hosmer.
Oh.
Should be a base hit for Owen Miller.
All right, you got somebody on board, so you got to get that runner in. So there's some home runs out there, there's a triple out there, doubles out there. On the positive side of things, lots of hits on the board.
Yeah, I'm feeling the pain though. How about number 1?
Number 1.
Let's go with number 1 with Garrett Mitchell.
First pitch swinging. It's a line drive down the right field line. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. Anderson's around second. They're going to wave him around third. Mitchell on his way to third. Here's the throw to the plate. It will be cut off. And Garrett Mitchell with an RBI triple gives the Brewers a 3-2 lead.
All right, you got to run in, so you got a man on third. This is your final at bat, so you at least got to score that run to put some numbers up there. You got 1 run in, 5th and final selection, virtual baseball, sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Stephen, what is your final choice?
Number 3. Number 3's it.
Number 3 is Rowdy Tellez.
3 balls, 2 strikes. The stretch and pitch. Ground ball, right side. Alonso's got it. Takes it to the bag and takes out his first base counterpart.
All right.
Steven, that wasn't very good.
Wasn't very good at all.
Less than productive. It's, you made Joanne's job easier. So hang on the line, Stephen. Joanne, you know what you have to do. You have to score 2 runs and you walk him off. Joanne, what's your first of the 10 possible selections?
Sure, let's go with 4.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Willie Adames.
And the pitch. This one hit in the air. He got under it. That was a good one to hit. I'm talking about power-wise. Canna the catch in left center. Adamas is retired.
Another slow start. A lot of outs on the board today. All right, Joanne, what else you got?
Let's go with 1.
Number 1.
Number 1 is Rowdy Tellez.
And Rowdy Tellez has been called out on strikes for a violation not being attentive to the pitcher when the clock had hit 8 seconds.
Pitch violation.
3.
Wow, that's a rare clip.
Scott Barry has
There's not a ton of those yet.
I think that might be the first one in Brewers history.
I think so. All right, you made history, but not in a good way, Joanne. So you have 0 runs.
Oh, man.
You've got 3 at-bats. What's your next pick?
Let's go 7.
Number 7 is Christian Yelich.
Christian Yelich, first pitch swinging. It's a drive to center. O'Neill is back at the track. It is gone.
Oh!
Got one.
Tied it up.
Yelich's first blast of the season.
All right.
He's got 3 hits today, and the Brewers lead it 4-1.
All right, Joanne, you and Steven are now tied, but you have 2 at-bats left. Still time to get another run across the plate. Joanne, what's your 4th pick?
Yeah, let's go 10.
Number 10 is Christian Yelich.
0-2 pitch. Got him looking. Went slider on the inside corner, Alan Porter.
All right, so here's the scenario there, Joanne. You are tied with Steven at 1. The only way you can win this is to hit a home run. Otherwise, we go to the tiebreaker, and you would select first in the tiebreaker. So you have 1 pick left. What number are you picking?
Go 9.
Number 9.
Number 9 is Brian Anderson.
2-2, nobody out. Mitchell on deck, the pitch. Swing and a miss. He's slowed up on the curveball. Anderson went after it.
Interesting thing about that,
Second strikeout.
she actually got 4 outs there. That's the benefit of this game. It's not the outs, it's the runs. All right, so here's the situation. Joanne from Menominee Falls, Stephen from Brookfield, you're both tied. You have 1 run. So now producer Brandon will lay out the extra innings, so to speak, the tiebreaker, which Joanne will select because she's the home team.
We are week 2 into virtual baseball with tie number 2
yes.
coming up here. All right, here is the tiebreaker rule, Stephen and Joanne. The home team has the chance to win the game in walk-off fashion. In this case, that is Joanne. We have 2 highlights labeled A and labeled B. One is a walk-off hit or home run. The other is a game-ending out. The home team, Joanne again, must choose between A or B. If it is a walk-off, then the home team wins. Of course, that's Joanne. If it is an out, then the home team loses, and the visiting team will go home with a WTMJ beautiful prize package.
All right.
Joanne, what is your selection, A or B?
All right, let's go A.
She goes with A with Garrett Mitchell.
And the pitch.
Hit in the air.
Oh!
Get up! Get up! Get out of here! Go!
There we go. He even got the uke call on that one. Oh, you bet he did. Joanne, you just walked off Steven from Brookfield. Steven, thanks for playing virtual baseball, sponsored by Siding Unlimited.
Oh, sure.
All right, Joanne, dramatic fashion. All right, man. Joanne, thanks for playing virtual baseball. Stay in the line. Producer Brandon will get all your information. Thanks for playing, as I said, and thanks to the folks at Siding Unlimited who make this all possible as we celebrate the virtual edition of baseball every Friday, 10:35, right here on WTMJ.
Seen yet at the ballpark tonight? Our hot dog guy who every time he would, get into an area and try to make a sale of a hot dog or two, he would bark like this. But I haven't heard him tonight. I gotta ask one of our ushers down in front of us because he'd always stop by to say hello, but he had that bark with his hot dogs when he was selling.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, back to report even more home buyers paid over the asking price last month, rising to 50% in the 5-county metro area. 3 out of 10 paid $10,000 or more above that list price. The good news is appraised values are generally keeping up with the over-asking offers. Still, the most powerful thing a buyer can do to make their offer the most attractive in a multiple offer situation is to give the seller some appraisal wiggle room. Telling the seller you're willing to pay over the asking price, even if if the house appraises lower sounds scary because most buyers think they have to fill that potential gap with more down payment. But in the vast majority of cases, AccuNet is showing home buyers how they can offer appraisal wiggle room without bringing a nickel more to closing. Appraisal wiggle room is like a good card trick. You need to see it to believe it. So if you're home shopping with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, upgrade today to an AccuNet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
Double pane prices for triple pane protection right now. Installed only by craftsmen that meet the Semper Fi standard from your local veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
SemperFiRoofing.com.
Hi, it's Rose Gray from Fox World Travel. Our travel advisors can help you travel anywhere in the world. Whether you're looking for a group tour or prefer to customize your own unique experience, we have the expertise to craft your next extraordinary journey, including some amazing options from our partners, Delta Vacations, Holland America Line, and Uniworld Boutique River Cruises, just to name a few. Visit foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. There are memories to be made this summer, and Fox will get you there.
You are a guaranteed winner with Siding Unlimited, Wisconsin's best contractor for your home's beauty and defense. Siding Unlimited is siding, of course, but so much more. Windows, roofing, decks. Siding Unlimited is recognized as the MVP in all those areas by customers and suppliers alike. You want major league work done on your house, so start by contacting Siding Unlimited. SidingUnlimited.com.
Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
All right, big game this weekend, Sunday night, Fiserv Forum. We don't know the opponents yet. It's game time 4:30, right, Producer Brandon?
That is correct, Steve. Yes, 4:30.
So it's either going to be the Heat or the Chicago Bulls. What do we know about the Heat and Chicago Bulls? Who's the best opponent in your mind for the Bucks?
The best one, the Chicago Bulls, just because of the matchup. They match up not as good as the Heat does with Milwaukee on defense. When you got Milwaukee playing Miami, you have Bam Adebayo there on defense. He kind of gives Giannis some fits defensively, and he struggles against them. And I don't think either team's going to give you a problem. If you're the Milwaukee Bucks, you got 58 wins, you got the best player in the world, best defense in the league. I mean, I think if you're looking at which team you would rather have, I'd probably go with the Chicago Bulls, but I hate to be that guy that be careful what you wish for, because it could come back and bite you.
They've beaten the Bucks, I think, a couple times.
They've beaten the Bucks a few times this year. They had a comeback. They were down 11 with like 3 minutes left back in January.
Horrible.
Oh my gosh! I think your grandson was at that game, wasn't
yes,
he? Was. Gosh, that was terrible. And there's a little bit of a rivalry growing, I think, with the Bulls.
Oh, yeah.
They crowd the Fiserv Forum. I'm sure they would be down there in the Deer District. You just you don't want to. And Chris Middleton went out last year against the Bulls.
So that was my next question. So Middleton was out last year. One of the biggest reasons why the Bucks didn't defend. We hear about knee soreness. It's probably not as bad as last year, but how much concern is there about that injury?
I think when you're the Milwaukee Bucks, and it's duly noted, I think throughout their through the league and through fans, they're super conservative. If you're a Packers fan, you know exactly what it's like when you got a guy that's injured. They're not going to rush him back. He's had a minute restrictions pretty much all year. Didn't come back until I think it was the end of January, like the third week of January, and the Bucks went on like a 15-4 run with him. They ended up winning 16 in a row. So he was a full participant in practice yesterday, according to head coach Mike Budenholzer, which is good. Grayson Allen was as well with his sprained ankle. So I think what you're going to get out of Chris Middleton is kind of what you have seen all year. out of Chris Middleton. I'm not sure he's going to touch over 30 minutes. If he does, then he's good to go for the long haul. But the Bucks need him. They need him, and they showed last year that they need Chris Middleton.
Any concerns about this first series that maybe we're not thinking about? You're a sports guy. You pay a lot closer attention than the rest of us.
The only concern I would have, not from a opponent, I think the Bucks are going to beat. If they get Chicago, it'll probably be in 5 or 6 games like it was last year. If they get Miami, it might go to 6, just because Miami just always defends Milwaukee tough. They beat them twice this year. My only concern is sitting out for a week. What Milwaukee Bucks team? Well, actually, it's been longer than a week. Half the starters didn't play.
Yeah,
the last 2 games.
What that does to shooting?
So it's been. You're going on probably 10 days. So what team do you get coming out? You think they'd be fresh. You think they'd have a lot of energy. You think they'd be ready to go. And I know they will. They've proven to be winners. So it's just that's my biggest question mark, because I don't remember going into the playoffs, and I could be wrong here, but I don't remember sitting guys for almost 2 weeks before playing.
Probably more than any of the previous seasons, this team should be well rested, or more rested than they have been, because they've had to play through a lot of stuff. This year they had a lot of workload management, games where Giannis, Middleton, other players sat out, Drew Holiday.
Yep.
This is, I think, a different approach. We're going to see how it works out, but I share that concern about, especially shooting. If they don't get off to a hot start shooting, what that might mean in Game 1. But Sunday night, Fiserv Forum, the Bulls are the Heat against the Milwaukee Bucks, 4:30 local time. Exciting series, best of 5, right?
No, this will be best of 7. They're all best of 7.
It is best of 7.
Yeah, they moved that. Oh gosh, what year was that? A couple of years ago, but they are all best of 7.
The thing I hate about this though, there's like 3 days between the games,
and for me, like an early alarm clock.
Right.
The Wednesday night game, 8 o'clock, in Milwaukee.
That's stupid.
Yeah. The other thing too with that, real quick before we go, the difference is, like, if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, whoever you get, Chicago, you can take a bus if you're the Bucks right down 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Miami, it's a little bit longer of a flight. So if they get Chicago, shorter travel, shorter or more rest.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Producer Brandon Snide, also a big time sports guy, Wisconsin Morning News. Hear his work every morning, 5 to 9 right here, 5 to 8 rather, on WTMJ. We'll take a break. News is coming up at the top of the hour. Lots more to get to, including if Steve ruled the world. We still have a giveaway to do. Action-packed 11 o'clock hour ahead right here on WTMJ.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ. Every hour.
The Republican National Committee announcing this morning that Fox News will host the first GOP presidential primary debate, and it will be in Milwaukee.
Every day.
2 officers shot and killed in Barron County over the weekend. That's northwest Wisconsin, according to the mayor of Chautauqua.
The news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
Barron County Sheriff's Department paging Mayo Clinic ambulance. You requested Highway double S for an officer-involved shooting.
News Radio WTMJ.
With inflation affecting so many families, the super affordable Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford is better than ever. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Mine Shaft restaurant. It's been locally family-owned for over 46 years. It's a fish fry Friday. The all-you-can-eat codfish fry is just $9.99. Most fish fries at other restaurants, $16 or so. Maybe more. At $9.99, this is the best fish fry value anywhere. The Mine Shaft desserts are all buy one, get one free. That chocolate cake is the best. Get some ice cream with it. The Saturday prime rib dinner is under $25. The Sunday brunch is all you can eat and only $14.99. And the breakfast, they're huge. $8.99 or less. It's also big value. The super affordable Mine Shaft restaurant right there on beautiful Main Street in downtown Hartford, or in Oshkosh, easy to get to right off the interstate. Both locations, tons of seating, tons of close parking. Reserve your table for the $9.99 fish fry today. MineShaftRestaurant.com.
If you're looking for the finest of furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
Hi, I'm Mike Yancey from Yancey & Associates. We're passionate about continuing on our mission to help more Wisconsin businesses create more success. If you have any questions about our insurance products or just want a second opinion about your insurance or employee benefits, I invite you to check out ANSI.com, or better yet, give us a call at Yancey & Associates. And let's have a conversation about your business and how we can help you secure, protect, and grow your version of the American dream.
All Brewers games are on sale now, including a marquee weekend matchup versus the Red Sox April 21st through the 23rd. Get the one-of-a-kind Yelly Tumbler Gate giveaway on Saturday, presented by American Family Insurance, and treat your crew to Brewers family fun on Sunday with special activities for kids, including Brewers player autographs and a chance to run the bases. Get your seats now at brewers.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show.
All right, coming up at 11 o'clock hour, it's Steve Ruled the World. Some tips for a better-looking yard this summer. But as you know, if you listen to the show, this is a lot more than that. We mix in a lot of different things into my weekly take on whatever's on my mind Thursday afternoon when I get done doing the Thursday show. So this one's going to be about your yard, but it's really about a whole lot more than that. We still have a giveaway for the final pair of State Fair tickets coming up in August in the beautiful state of Wisconsin, just west of us, as we sit at the Avenue Studios in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. We'll take a break for the news at the top. As I said, the news is next, my friends, on WTMJ.
You're listening to the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
The new Burkhardt Sporting Goods is now open in New Berlin, and it is the baseball lover's destination. With a massive state-of-the-art indoor training facility featuring hit tracks with precision analytics, a huge open turf area, and all the best training equipment you need. And we carry the Midwest's largest bat selection from all the major brands that you can try before you buy. I'm Brian Burkhardt, and if you love baseball and softball like we do, you gotta see the new Burkhardt Sporting Goods on 155th and National in New Berlin.
You can't beat Burkhardt.
If you plan on draining buzzer beaters, the place to start is Burkhardt, where you'll find a great selection of shoes and court gear. But what's going to turn you into the next big thing on the court is practice. And there's no better place to do it than on your own court. Having your own hoop is an absolute must to hone your shot. And we'll help you get there with a great selection of basketball hoops and accessories. This is Brian Burkhardt, and I promise you, when you love basketball like we do,
you can't beat Burkhardt.
WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi.
Celebrate with your teammates. This is stupid. Bottom line is, show some class. I don't care where you're from, what you look like. 5, you pick the amount. Put
Neither
that
here
aside.
nor there. Yeah.
Maybe it should just be always what we decide. Maybe the whole 15%, 20%, maybe that's outdated. One more sheriff's commercial about politics or who you're endorsing. Nobody cares. Do your damn jobs.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on WTMJ.
You've heard about Purple mattresses. Try it before you buy it at Steinhoffel's.
Your hometown hub for everything that matters. The latest news, traffic, weather, and sports on Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 11 o'clock, it's 70 degrees. Today, mostly sunny with a high of 73 at the lakefront and 82 degrees inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Finn Askin. There have been 9 fire deaths in Milwaukee so far this year. This after the remains of a woman and a toddler were found inside a burned-out home on the city's south side. A 27-year-old woman and a 16-month-old girl died in a large house fire near 19th and Burnham on Wednesday. Their bodies were discovered Thursday. Assistant Fire Chief Dwayne Smoots.
There was just so much fire, and then the buildings collapsed, and there was no way for me to safely have my firefighters work to go through the rubble, and that's when DPW came through. They helped with their heavy equipment to help us go through the rubble to see if there was anyone there.
The cause of the fire remains under investigation. And the state is out with another red flag warning today. The warning for counties in central Wisconsin, meaning the risk for wildfire remains very high. This is the third day a red flag warning is in place. The DNR has responded to nearly 100 wildfires in the last week. The largest at Fort McCoy, where the Arcadia fire has burned 2,900 acres and is currently still being managed. That fire likely to have started from a controlled burn. The base says it will investigate the matter after the fire is contained. And the Milwaukee Bucks kick off their playoff run on Sunday, and the city and the team are now detailing plans for keeping the area safe during and after the games.
Fans can expect to see more police.
The presence of our officers will be very notable.
in and around the arena.
Assistant Police Chief Paul Formolo also pushing fans to leave it at home. Anything that can't be brought into the arena shouldn't be left in a car. As for the Deer District, only one screen to start this playoff run, and there won't be a cap on the number of fans let in. However, President Peter Fagan says they will be closely monitoring the crowd.
It's going to be very controlled. It's going to be very distributed.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Security changes come after shootings outside the Deer District left 21 people injured following a playoff game last May. Hans Weisberger owns Old German Beer Hall on MLK Drive. He tells Wisconsin's Morning News there's one thing the team can do to ensure safety.
There has to be a level of responsibility from the Bucks owners. If you're going to invite all these people downtown, you're not just responsible for what happens within this fence they've put up.
Game 1 is Sunday afternoon with a 4:30 p.m. tip-off. They'll either play the Bulls or the Heat. You can hear that game right here on WTMJ Radio. And calling it the, quote, spiritual successor to the streets of Old Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Public Museum is sharing new information about the gallery it will call Milwaukee Revealed.
Milwaukee Revealed will have shades of the current MPM favorite.
We wanted to take the nostalgia and the legacy of that exhibit forward into an equally immersive experience.
Helen Diviak on the design team for the new $240 million museum. Milwaukee Revealed will feature streetscapes to walk around and buildings to walk in.
And you're getting all these reveals. You're getting all these sneak peeks.
The new public museum will be just north of Fiserv Forum, set to open in 2026. Vince Vitrano, WTMJ News.
And if you'd like to see sketches of the Milwaukee Revealed exhibit, text the word museum to the WTMJ talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sunny Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
What's the way to build your wealth?
If you want to be sure that you're getting financial planning advice you can trust, work with a fiduciary. A fiduciary should be someone who acts as a steward for you. It means they treat your assets as if they were their own, that they protect them as if they were their own, and that they try to grow them as if they were their own. Now you can take this for what it's worth, but I'm doing all I can to run a firm you can trust. That's why we're a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm that doesn't work for anyone but our clients and focuses only on their best interest. By being a steward, being a fiduciary, to help our clients reach their financial goals. I'm Jim Cantrell, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
At Evans Transportation, they love the sound of Milwaukee baseball. Bats cracking, crowds cheering, brats grilling. And Evans is a big fan of manufacturing runs, both on the diamond and in supply chain management. When manufacturers have accounting, shipping, and tracking needs, they come to Evans. Because just like in baseball, teams who know how to manufacture runs have the best chance of long-term success. Good luck to the Brew Crew from Evans and Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com.
With so much confusion in our world, I trust Catholic schools because they partner with us parents, and what they're teaching is in line with our values. Every day starts with prayer, and the focus on faith is shaping their character and helping prepare my kids for life, giving them the conviction to do what's right. My kids are getting a great education at Catholic schools, and I encourage your family to join us.
Catholic schools. Be a part of something greater. Find a Catholic school near you at archmill.org/greater.
The Milwaukee Bucks are gearing up for their playoff run as they await the winner of tonight's Eastern Conference playing game for the 8th seed between the Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat. Winner of that game moves on to Milwaukee for a best-of-7 series beginning Sunday afternoon starting at 4:30 in Milwaukee. Behind a Rowdy Tellez 2-run homer in the first inning and a sacrifice fly in the top of the 10th, the Brewers go on to win in San Diego, beating the Padres by a final of 4-3. Colin Ray, who got the spot start for the Brew Crew, he was the story of the game, going 5 2/3 innings while only giving up 1 earned run and striking out 6 batters. The Brewers are back at it tonight in San Diego. Eric Lauer is slated to get the start. First pitch is set for 8:40. You can tune into full coverage right here on WTMJ, your home of the Milwaukee Brewers, beginning at 8:05. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Time for a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. 94 westbound to downtown. Downtown to the zoo is 11 minutes. Zoo to Highway 16 is 10 minutes. 4145 southbound from Q to the zoo is 13 minutes. And 94 southbound from Marquette to the Layton Avenue is 6 minutes.
Traffic is sponsored by Harwood Place Senior Living.
Learn more about Harwood Place Retirement Living's newly renovated apartments and updated pricing options at our May 10th open house. To RSVP or to schedule a tour, visit harwoodplace.org.
Here's a look at your WTMJ forecast. Today, mostly sunny with a high of 73 at the lake and 82 inland. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 53 degrees. Tomorrow, increasing clouds and thunderstorms late with a high of 70 at the lake and 80 degrees inland. And Sunday, rain showers, chance of thunderstorms, cloudy and breezy with a high of 55 degrees. In Milwaukee right now, it is 70 degrees. I'm Finn Askin, Siding Unlimited WTMJ News Time, coming up on 11:08.
Breaking down the biggest stories, talking about what really matters, and bringing you the biggest forum to let your voice be heard. Now, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, here's Steve Scaffidi.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome, 11 o'clock hour. We're waking up together. Well, we're already woke up, let's be honest. Unless you're a late sleeper on this Friday, and if you have that luxury, kudos to you. I was tired this morning, but I'm in a great mood. Sun is shining here in Wisconsin, great state of Wisconsin. So I thought as we started to warm up with the weather, it leads me to think about things other than politics or maybe even sports. We just did a little bit of a Bucks hit there with big-time sports guy Brandon Snide a little bit earlier. I thought let's talk about some of the greening, the landscaping, the rebirth of nature as we celebrate spring here in Wisconsin. And I know there's people listening all over the place where it's already been nice, but we are realizing some incredible spring weather here in Wisconsin. So I thought, why not look at spring from the perspective of a homeowner and their yard? A fresh perspective. You know, there's obviously some of the tried and true standards of If Steve Ruled the World will be welcome. As a matter of fact, we have an early appearance by one of my favorite songs of all time. So that'll be early on in the presentation. But it's my look at not only feeling good about your lawn, but having the rest of your neighborhood feel good about your lawn. Because let's be honest, they have to drive by this thing. They have to look at it every day when they're on their walks with their dogs. Hopefully the dog's not pooping on your yard, because that's not a good thing. So let's launch into this week's edition of If Steve Ruled the World.
Steve
Ruled the World. All right, some tips for a better looking yard this summer, not just for you, but for everybody else that has to look at it. Let's start with the easy one first. 3 simple words that can change your life. Cut your grass. All caps, cut your grass. When your lawn starts to turn green and starts growing in a few weeks, and that's already starting, trust me, cut it. Now, you would think this would be fairly straightforward, right? You only have to cut it for, 4 or 5 months out of the year in Wisconsin? Chances are, if you have a house, you have a lawnmower. Let's focus on a basic fact. Grass grows on an irregular basis. If it's rainy, it grows faster. If it's dry, it might go dormant, might brown out. So given those facts, why would any reasonable person assume that a regularly scheduled grass cutting time would make any sense at all? Like the old, I cut my grass every Saturday morning approach. No, teeth cleaning, oil changes, haircut appointments, that can be scheduled. Not when you cut your grass. Your grass tells you when to cut it, not the other way around.
Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Are we clear?
If Steve Ruled the World.
Now, I don't know if you're like me, and chances are you're probably not, which is probably a good thing, to be honest. But have you run across the folks who treat their property as their own personal junkyards? Filled with old tires, remnants of old landscaping projects, broken down snowmobiles, bikes, in some cases vehicles that haven't moved in decades. Now, some people might say, trust me, I've heard this, my yard, my rules. Technically, that's incorrect. Local ordinances have plenty of restrictions on what you can have on display in eyesight of your neighbors. Here's an idea. Most communities now have recycling centers or garbage facilities where you can drop off this junk for free or for very minimal charge. How about turning off Fox News or Fox Not News for a second or an hour, getting up out of the chair, get some exercise, loading up that rusty old pickup truck of yours with all those treasures. Might even give you some extra yard space to plant some illegal weed so you don't have to run to Illinois for it every week. Wink, wink, nod, nod. For all those junkyard dog-looking, Busch Light drinking, Donald Trump year-round sign displayers, don't tell me what to do in my own yard, folks. Yeah, this is for you. I'm bringing it early today. How about a little, oh, you know what's coming.
If Steve ruled the world.
And just a note, you're not the Burt Reynolds character in that movie. Trust me on that. Look up Ned Beatty if you don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know about you, but when I drive by a house in the summer, I notice two things. Is there grass cuts? And do they have 3-foot-tall weeds growing up out of that grass? Funny thing about weeds, if you take about 30 seconds, you can pick a weed when it's a couple inches tall. Nobody's going to miss it. If, however, you choose to walk by that weed week after week, month after month, it starts to resemble part of your landscaping, at least in your mind. For all the rest of us, it just suggests that you were too lazy to bend over and pick the weed. Think of it as exercise. Slight inconvenience, great reward. But in this case, it's a reward for your neighbors. Side note, it's an important note. If you don't treat your grass with chemicals, you can actually harvest the dandelion leaves and eat them like salad. True story. But don't take my word for it.
Popping up in gardens and driveways across Britain in the summertime, dandelions are a gardener's nemesis. But they're not all bad.
There's more to these pesky weeds than meets the eye. They've been used in cooking and medicine for centuries.
If Steve ruled the world.
I just played it because I love the accents. A word on lawn decorations, the often abused, just not good, not a good look. I'm a big fan of the cool ones. The stone deer, love them. Bird bass, absolutely. Even some of the fake waterfalls, sign me up. All in. Here's the list of things, however, that don't qualify as lawn decorations. Any holiday decoration that is more than a month out from the actual celebration of the holiday, nope. Shopping carts, never. I don't care if you fill them up with planted flowers, non-starter. Pieces of furniture that you've adapted, air quoting, adapted to be landscaping features. That includes beds, dressers, bookshelves, I've seen that, toilets, nope. And any and all appliances. See my earlier comment on junkyards. Yes, your yard can be an extension of your home, but it shouldn't feature the same things that you actually sleep on, store your food in, or in the case of the toilet, well, you know where I'm going with that.
You can't handle the truth.
If Steve ruled the world.
Now, I know a lot of you have lawn services. I do too. I use Weed Man, who's a great partner of us here at WTMJ. I'm a big fan of people who control their weeds, grow healthy lawns, and just generally make their lawns worthy of their neighbors' attention. Big fan. What I'm not so much a fan of is the people who leave those little signs the lawn service companies stick in the ground for months at a time. Seriously, again, how lazy are you? You walk past the sign, sticking out of your lawn, and you don't pick it up. Just like that weed. Double trouble. If you don't want to do yard work, don't buy a house, unless you're willing to pay someone to take care of it for you. The good news is, there aren't any houses to buy. So at least we won't have any new lazy landscapers out there, but we need more folks like this.
Well, I'm gonna take my mower on down the road. I'm gonna mow until I can't no more. I'm gonna take my mower on down the road. I'm gonna mow until I can't no more. I got my trimmers in the bag, blowers on the racks, trailers painted black with the sickest rips and mags. See, now you can use your skag, I'ma use my gravely. Pick any mower that you want is all I'm really saying. And can't nobody tell me nothing, I'm leaving stripes like something. Can't nobody tell me nothing, I'm leaving stripes like something.
It's Steve ruled the world.
And if you're not mad enough yet, if you listen to the show, you heard me talk about leaves. Ooh, Bilston rants and raves when I talk about leaves. Here's a quick one, though. Yes, mulch your leaves into your lawn. It's great for the grass, saves your city money by not having to pick up all those leaves on the taxpayer's dime. And every serious landscaper will tell you as much. No, don't rake those leaves into your landscape areas pretending they're mulch. They're not mulch. You know where those leaves end up that you don't take care of on a windy day? My yard. Unless you actually mulch your leaves, they are a nuisance to me. Just like squirrels, chipmunks, stray cats, and dogs that never stop barking. All things that bother me for $100, Alex.
Lighten up, Francis.
It's Steve ruled the world.
I think that was for me. A brief thought on a relatively new phenomena, artificial turf front lawns. No. Nada. Never. Not going to happen. This isn't Las Vegas, people. You want to play on artificial turf, go sign with the Minnesota Vikings. They have plenty of it, and even if you haven't played football before, you got at least a 50-50 shot of making that team. And since we're talking about that semi-pro team from Minnesota with the crazy play-by-play guy,
we're the Minnesota Vikings and we're just a pile of junk. We play in a dome they call the Humpty Dump. Win a few games, make the playoffs and we choke. The Minnesota Vikings and you know that we're a joke.
It's Steve ruled the world.
It's got a nice beat to it. Speaking of people who are bad at taking care of their lawns, my apologies to Jeff Foxworthy, but you know you're a redneck when your pickup truck is parked not in the driveway but on your front lawn. You know you're a redneck when the lawn service companies don't even put a flyer on your front door. You know you're a redneck when you can't even find your lawnmower in the front yard or backyard, and you don't even have a shed or garage in your property. And lastly, you know you're a redneck when your wood fence is actually a bunch of wood pallets just stacked end to end together on the neighbor's property line. But let's go to the expert on this.
But for those of you that may not know if you're a redneck or not, they asked me to do a few to try to help you out. Things like if you own a home that is mobile and 14 cars that aren't, you might be a redneck. If you take your dog for a walk and you both use the tree at the corner, you might be a redneck.
It's Steve ruled the world.
Thank you, Jeff Foxworthy. Here's a few more quick tips of being a good neighbor when it comes to your yard. Leaving your old furniture on the front lawn after the city has done their annual garbage pickup day, hoping that somebody will drive by and pick it up. Nope, probably not going to happen. Cutting half of your front yard for any reason and leaving it that way for days, not a good look. Having more dandelions than actual grass won't make you any friends either. And finally, if your idea of good landscaping is to let your yard go natural in some lazy, lame attempt to save the bees, you better hire Outdoor Living Unlimited to make sure it doesn't look like you just moved out last summer.
It's Steve ruled the world.
And last but not least, being a good neighbor means you actually care about taking care of your yard and doing what it takes to make it look good for all the rest of your neighbors. Since I'm a positive guy, I spread sunshine, which makes grass grow, by the way. I'll end with this. There are a ton of kids, hopefully, out there looking for summer jobs. Maybe your kids are. Loosen up the wallet, pay them to clean up your yard, but pay them in real money, not in beer, not in weed, maybe Bud Lights. That's this week's
It's Steve ruled the world.
Take us to break, Brandon.
Summertime is finally here. That old ballpark man is back in gear out on 49. Man, I can see the lights. School's out and the night's rolling, man. Just like a long-lost friend you ain't seen in a while. You can't help but smile. And it's 2 bare feet on the dashboard. Young love and an old Ford. Shoe shades and a tattoo and a yoo-hoo bottle on the floorboard.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. The current economic climate may look grim, but how menacing is it to your retirement plan? Join us Wednesday, April 19th at 11 a.m. for Inflation, Rate Hikes, and Bears Oh My, a special webinar with Dave Spano of Annex Wealth Management. We'll take a historical look and share how inflation, rate hikes, and volatile markets have an impact on retirement planning and what you can do. Inflation and Rate Hikes and Bears Oh My, the webinar, Wednesday, April 19th at 11 a.m. Complete details and registration at annexwealth.com/events.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Heiser Automotive. You heard me talking about this earlier. One of the reasons I love Heiser, great vehicles, great customer service, but all their great programs. I mentioned these before, and honest pricing is a big part of this as well. You'll never pay over MSRP. No hidden market adjustment fees. Honest pricing. That's why people love Heiser. That's why I love Heiser, and I've both purchased vehicles from them and been a spokesperson for almost 4 years. They have their Safe and Sound program and all their new vehicles to make sure you're safe and sound. Vehicle exchange program. If you don't love it, exchange it. Roadside assistance for life, folks. Never get stuck in a situation where you're worried about what happens next. They will provide for you. You can speak to one of their specialists every day on options for your vehicle. You could be in a vehicle as soon as tonight. Why not go out to Heiser, one of their 5 great locations, or check out Heiser.com or Heiser4.com. See what I'm talking about. That's why they say today's your day.
Tune in on Sundays at 10 a.m. for the AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show. Join AccuNet's Brian and David Wickert for the most up-to-date information on mortgage trends, along with timely news on the real estate market. The housing market is in flux, but the national headlines don't often fit local market conditions. Find out what's really happening on the front lines of real estate and mortgage financing in Wisconsin and make better decisions by tuning in every Sunday at 10 a.m. The AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show with Brian and David Wickert on WTMJ.
Every day and everywhere they go, these followers of Jesus, they bring the echo of Easter with them.
Easter may be past, but it isn't over. Learn how we can bring the hope and glad good news of Christ's resurrection into the lives of those we meet. Raising the Praise with guest speaker Pastor John Nunes this week on The Lutheran Hour.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
Hello, reporting an accident on 43.
Call me, Debbie Lazaga, at thehallmazda.com traffic tip line at 414-238-9329.
Hey, Debbie, this is Al calling. Southbound 894 is backed up all the way to Beloit Road.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it?
Hi, Debbie, it's Mark. There's an incident on the left shoulder, and it's a parking lot.
Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
What if you could build a 6-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a 6-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and executive producer of a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept called the retirement discount. It gives you more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and your money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're 50 or older and want a bigger, better retirement, call Mitch Lyons Wealth to get a free copy of this brand new movie at 1-800-578-3535. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you'll get it completely free. Plus, I'll include a copy of my book, Retirement of Steel. And I'll even pay your shipping and handling. No credit card required. Call right now. 1-800-578-3535. That's 1-800-578-3535.
Hi, it's Rose Gray from Fox World Travel. Our travel advisors can help you travel anywhere in the world. Whether you're looking for a group tour or prefer to customize your own unique experience, we have the expertise to craft your next extraordinary journey, including some amazing options from our partners: Globus Tours, Princess Cruises, Disney Vacations, and Avalon Waterways, just to name a few. Visit foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. There are memories to be made this summer, and Fox will get you there.
Catch deals on everything you need for your next fishing trip at Fleet Farm. Shop our huge selection of rods, reels, and exclusive lures, and you'll be ready to reel in the big one. And don't miss this great deal going on now. Get a free $15 Fleet Farm gift card when you buy an Ugly Stick GX2 spinning combo. Next time you cast out, Get a bite with help from Fleet Farm, your fishing headquarters.
With inflation affecting so many families, the super affordable Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford is better than ever. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Mine Shaft restaurant. It's been locally family-owned for over 46 years. It's a Fish Fry Friday. The all-you-can-eat codfish fry is just $9.99. Most fish fries at other restaurants, $16 or so. Maybe more. At $9.99, this is the best fish fry value anywhere. The Mine Shaft desserts are all buy one, get one free. That chocolate cake is the best. Get some ice cream with it. The Saturday prime rib dinner is under $25. The Sunday brunch is all you can eat and only $14.99. And the breakfast, they're huge. $8.99 or less. It's also big value. The super affordable Mine Shaft restaurant right there on beautiful Main Street in downtown Hartford, or in Oshkosh, easy to get to right off the interstate. Both locations, tons of seating, tons of close parking. Reserve your table for the $9.99 fish fry today. MineShaftRestaurant.com.
Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
Oh, the nicer weather is finally here. You bet it is. And you know what that means? Summer fun is right around the corner all this week. Last chance today, by the way. We're giving you, yes, listeners of the Steve Scaffidi Show, a free pair of tickets to the state's biggest fair, the incredible, historic Wisconsin State Fair, fun-filled family event full of rides, music, great food, and we broadcast live from the Wisconsin State Fair. Always enjoy that. Come out and say hi. Caller number 5 today at 855-616-1620. Caller number 5 to 855-616-1620 wins our final pair of tickets. The fair runs August 3rd to the 13th and is always a most memorable experience. Absolutely love the fair and love broadcasting from there. So last chance to win a free pair of tickets. Call right now. Caller number 5. Phone lines are all green, so good job, you guys. Real quick, just setting up something we're going to talk about in the next 15 minutes or so. We've talked about TikTok from the perspective of, will this be banned on the federal level? Will the government say, you know what, we're shutting this down, too many unknowns, links to China, their governments, accessing Americans' data? Well, some states aren't waiting for that, like Montana. Proposals swirling around the United States of America by states saying, you know what, we're not waiting for you. We're going to ban this, or we're going to severely limit it. Is that the next step in this discussion? We'll certainly dip into that. And, of course, the Week in Review, sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited. And a quick shout-out to my lovely relative, Lena, and her dad sitting in Arizona listening live today. I don't know if they're watching live. You can stream it now, of course. The newest development today, YouTube. Go to WTMJ.com for all the details. You can see us and hear us, which is brilliant, except when I don't comb my hair. Then it's not so good. But I combed my hair today, and I did shave, so we're good. All right, it's time for the news from our Breaking News Center. Finn Askin.
Thanks, Steve. The body of a man was pulled from Lake Michigan near Veterans Park in Milwaukee Thursday evening. According to TMJ4 News, the Milwaukee Fire Department says a fisherman noticed the body in the water and contacted authorities. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office is investigating that incident. An election recount is scheduled for this morning. After losing the Elmbrook School Board election by 48 votes, Greg Eberhardt has been granted a recount after citing potential irregularities or illegalities in his petition. Eberhardt ran against Dr. Preetha Kuridiara for the Area 3 seat. And the Journal-Sentinel is reporting that the city of Milwaukee's request that a judge order ownership of the dilapidated former Northridge Mall will not be transferred to the city. And time for news about your money in the Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is down 238 points. The S&P 500 is up 23 points, or down 23 points, and the Nasdaq is down 104 points. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons paving, time saver traffic. All good on the roads right now. 94 inbound from Highway 16 to the Zoo is 10 minutes. Zoo to downtown is 5 minutes. 41 northbound from the Zoo to Highway Q is 14 minutes, and 43 inbound from Brown Deer to the Marquette Interchange is 10 minutes.
Traffic is sponsored by Evans Transportation Services. Thank heavens for Evans. Rely on one company for accounting, shipping, and tracking. Evans Transportation Services. Family owned for 40 years and continuing to grow. Evans Transportation Services in Brookfield.
Here's a look at your WTMJ forecast. Today, mostly sunny with a high of 73 at the lake and 82 degrees inland. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 53 degrees. Tomorrow, increasing clouds and thunderstorms late in the evening, and the high of 70 degrees at the lake and 80 degrees inland. And Sunday, rain showers, chance for thunderstorms, cloudy and breezy with a high of 50 degrees. In Milwaukee right now, it is 71 degrees. I'm Finn Askin, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:32.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. And here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Here's to soaking up surf culture on Wisconsin's fresh coast. Here's to beaches designed for people of all abilities. To sand between your toes and happiness in your heart. Here's to trading skylines for endless Wisconsin shorelines. And to ending each day with smiles all around. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Start your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. You know, I've played sports my entire life, been hurt a lot of times, but never had been injured until I had to stop doing the sports I enjoyed because my knee flat wouldn't allow it. I visited Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, where they took great care of me. I put my knee in their doctors' capable hands, and now I'm back in the gym, carrying my golf bag, pain-free for 18 holes, and playing tennis as often as I like with no issues. I'd recommend Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin to anyone. Visit orthowisconsin.com.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
I'm feeling great on this Friday. Hopefully you are as well. Gorgeous weather day. Hopefully it's nice where you are. Friday for us Monday, Friday workers. And then we, of course, launch into the weekend. You never know what the weekend's going to hold, so we'll see. Thanks to all the folks who are now watching us on this incredible April day. Cameras, four cameras in our beautiful Annex Studios, Annex Wealth Studios on the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. I love the fact that we have listeners all over the place now, because this is kind of, it relates to what I'm going to talk about next. It's not just Wisconsin we're talking about. Now, we've had these conversations. I've talked about it on the program. Whether or not we should go after some of these social media platforms like TikTok, like Twitter. And right now, Twitter's a mess. Changing directions, changing policies. I would argue less scrutiny, and why this is going to be critical is we have an election, big election coming up next year, and to have a unregulated, I guess that's not the right word, just a, no holds barred, anything goes Twitter experience, probably not the most positive thing for a U.S. presidential election. But set that aside for a moment. A lot of the recent conversation is about TikTok. Just to kind of fill you in, videos primarily is what they do. 150 million users across the United States. That's nearly half the population. I've talked to people who love TikTok. I'm not on it. I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. That's plenty for me. I don't even use Instagram that much. I probably don't even use Facebook that much because that during elections is kind of a warped view of America as well. I'm a big fan of Twitter. I've said that before. If it went away, I could deal with it. Trust me. I lived before Twitter. I will certainly survive after Twitter. But as we've had these conversations, you can join us, by the way, 855-616-1620 on the talk and text line, about an outright ban of TikTok in the U.S. State legislatures across the country are having some of these same conversations. And Montana, of all places, was kind of ahead of the curve on this, which you can't say generally about the state of Montana. They are actively trying to block this app, ban this app, for these alleged security failures, potentially for a release of sensitive data from the users linked to the Chinese government. All these questions, just a quick overview. It's owned by a Chinese company who has offered, by the way, their CEO said this last week, to move their headquarters to the United States. And most lawmakers said, interesting, but not good enough. So how would you do this? And that's the big question. How would you do this? The road to doing that, and this is something the Montana legislature has kind of started to figure out, is by forcing companies to ban that app as a dangerous security risk. But a lot of the providers of this app, and any app, companies that you're very familiar with, who provide all of the apps that we talk about, they're saying this may not be possible. We can't do this. So there's a lot of back and forth. As I said, there's going to be a huge backlash. 150 million users, they're not going to go away quietly. I've made it a habit of asking people away from the show, do you use TikTok? What do you like about it? And I will tell you, it's not as popular as Twitter. In my group of friends, it's probably about the same with the collective number of people that use it. And it's probably not as popular as Facebook. But it is very popular with the younger segments of our population. So when I talked to like Anna and Jesse, we had in the studio this Monday, they use it a lot. It's a platform that has been very successful for small businesses. They have been using this platform to get the word out. And I've seen a lot of testimony that says it's really successful, and it doesn't cost anything. The company that owns TikTok is called ByteDance, and they're caught in the middle of all this. They are providing a service that people love. Again, 150 million in the United States, billions rather across the world. But does a state or a country have a right to ban an app? I don't know the answer to that question. And I don't think anybody does. Because as states, as our federal government, as Congress moves forward on this, we're not sure what this is going to look like. And here's one thing I know. I had this conversation with a teammate earlier before the show. And it's related to that leaks of documents story from the, 23-year-old or 21-year-old kid. Anybody that thinks young users of social media or really any internet technology aren't light years ahead of older users is living in a cave. They will find ways to go around this ban or whatever you want to call it on TikTok. That's the reality. They will figure out ways because that's what they do. Jim says on the text line, I don't care about TikTok. I'm not a fan, but is the U.S. government so concerned about TikTok because they can't control the content like Facebook and Twitter were controlled, besides the Chinese issue? Perhaps. And that's not even clear. We know that Facebook was utilized in the 2016 election. Highly discussed. I'm not sure that I have every piece of information I need to process how that worked because I've said it over and over again. If you're getting influenced by social media apps, you're doing life wrong. It's certainly a place you can digest things, see things, become aware, but if you're letting that information or disinformation influence your decision-making, you've got bigger problems. Let's see. From the... Oh, that's a different thing. I have to say it because it's funny. So apparently in the studio, someone has a roll of toilet paper. Where am I seeing this? Somewhere in the studio, there's a roll of toilet paper. It's not mine. So I would guess that it's being used as a Kleenex, but yeah, we might want to move that. So thanks for pointing that out. For the 262, before we get the break here, Florida can ban books that mention Rosa Parks was black. I'm pretty sure Montana can ban the app. They're going to try. It was passed by their Senate. It was up in front of their House this week. I have not seen if they've passed it. They're going full bore ahead on this. And I can guarantee that you will see states at least pass legislation that gives the power to the state that says, you know what, we're not allowing that app. It's the enforcement. It's the technology piece they don't know yet. And as I said, younger people, when it comes to technology, light years ahead of us older folks who are still trying to figure out some basic things like getting our email to work. Just being honest. We'll take a break here. After the break, the Weekend Review sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
I guess one of the biggest sacrifices that I think we made starting Penny Mustard was personal time.
Ben and Arvid Huth, brothers and owners of Penny Mustard Furnishings.
Yeah, we just lived, ate, and breathed work all the time for years. Yep. And moving from a town where I knew a lot of people, I was going to school in Eau Claire and kind of living the college life, to move into Milwaukee and work all the time where I knew nobody. We didn't know anybody down here. Yep. And it took us a long time before we knew a lot of people down here. Well, we were working so much. And we were working a lot. Yeah. And that's hard, especially when you're in your younger 20s. Yeah. That's when you're supposed to be partying. I do remember, I think I was 31 before I actually stayed out till midnight on New Year's Eve. Holy cow. Because New Year's Day is a big day, and you were on the sales floor, and you can't stay out till midnight and do what you got to do the next day. That was like a milestone in my life where I actually stayed out till midnight because I didn't have to be at a store the next day. I was 31 years old already. That's impressive. And embarrassing. Well, probably.
See more at pennymustard.com.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. For Advent, I've talked about it, tossing and turning, constant restless nights of sleep. Nobody wants that, trust me. And you don't want me to be grouchy in the morning, do you? You want me to spread sunshine and be nice and be fun. That's all possible because I went to Advent, one of their great facilities, talked to two of their docs on my first visit. A quick 30-minute visit. They put me at ease. We did a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. Determined the root cause of my problem. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle, but I found out. Sinuses, nasal passages, they fixed it with a short procedure in office. I'm back to breathing well. Last night, solid 7 hours of sleep, uninterrupted. Put my head down on the pillow, woke up in the morning, 5 o'clock, boom, ready to go. Feeling rested. That can be you. If you've struggled like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. Find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better. Go to adventknows.com, schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
SemperFiRoofing.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Differentiation Officer Brian Wickert reminding home shoppers that working with AccuNet is different and better than working with your bank. Most bank pre-approvals state they've only verified the potential home buyer's credit, but not their income or money for down payment. To us, that's just crazy. AccuNet's rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval tells the seller we've checked out all three aspects of your financial health, and that will pay $2,000 if our pre-approval is faulty. Banks don't do that, but they do have a lot of overhead with all their vice presidents and fancy branches. We keep overhead low, which means lower rates and closing costs that are typically $1,000 to $3,000 lower than banks. Most importantly, our loan consultants can show you and your agent how to improve your financing and appraisal contingencies so your offer has the best chance of winning in a multiple offer situation. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Click on the blue button today for your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval. That's ACCUNET.com.
Now, more of the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
You don't have to just listen anymore. You can also watch the Steve Scaffidi Show on all your favorite WTMJ shows. But we know that I'm your favorite, right? We're now streaming live on video from our studios at the Avenue. You can see us. Some people are watching right now. You can watch online at WTMJ.com. The mobile app, which if it's not is on your phone, that's an app you need to get on your phone. Nobody's talking about banning that app. WTMJ, mobile app. Our YouTube page, our social channels, we got it all covered. Look while you listen with the WTMJ video stream. And we were able to find out that somebody actually did see a roll of toilet paper and somebody's using it as basically Kleenex. Now, the question for me is, who is that? Because I wouldn't do that. Is that a bad look? Maybe. But we'll remedy that or rectify the situation. A couple things. Now I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. So one of the things that I want to point out is that I always mention the long-distance listeners for a reason. Because folks are just, I love the local listeners. We got tons of them, hundreds of thousands of them. But I love the fact that people, wherever they're at, and I gave a shout-out earlier to my relative, Lena, and her dad, but just let us know where you're at. I'd love to see where you're coming from, what you're talking about, what's on your mind from a different perspective than happens right here in good old Milwaukee and Wisconsin. So if you take the time, you can do it on the text line. You can call 855-616-1620. That's always front and center. Actually, I'm going to add some different little things in the studio when my show is on, maybe a bobblehead that somebody gave me, and some other fun stuff just to jazz up the audio and the video as much as we can. So that's kind of a look at the future, but it's very exciting now that we're available to video stream as well as audio. So exciting stuff. All right, one of our regular Friday features as well is the Weekend Review. Tragedy strikes downtown Louisville. Warm weather brings raging wildfires. A new take on old streets and more. It's the Weekend Review, brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
What we do here is go back.
2 officers have been killed following a shooting in Barron County Saturday.
32-year-old Chautauqua police officer Emily Breidenbach and 23-year-old Cameron police officer Hunter Scheel were conducting a traffic stop based on a warrant as well as to check the welfare of the driver.
This is going to be a tough week for Chautauqua kids. It's going to be a tough week for us, but we'll get through, and with God's help and with each other's help.
We stood there and talked, and she talked about what a beautiful day it was, and it was way too nice to be indoors writing reports. I never, in a million years, thought a couple hours later I would never see or talk to her again.
From Emily dancing in the football stands to Hunter at National Night Out with kids playing in the squad, this is why we do what we do here in Barron County.
Stop right here.
Office workers were starting their week when the first shots were fired before 9 in the morning.
Well, my son might be because he has a gun and he's heading toward the Old National.
Like you all, I'm really fatigued and frustrated on this non-stop vicious cycle of deadly shootings in our nation.
This is the town I grew up in. These were my teenage years. You think of those times, it's like, oh, this can't happen. Where those fun memories happen, I don't know how long it's going to take to heal from this mass shooting.
After examining all options, this decision was necessary.
Private Catholic University Cardinal Stritch in Milwaukee announcing that it is closing its doors in May.
We're like, is this really happening? Like, are they going to just tell us that it's all a joke or something?
This is obviously the first. I'm not sure who's next, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was another one.
Things financially haven't been going the best. It wasn't a complete surprise, though still, very sad.
What they did was they taught us that we could just manage almost any aspect of a workplace.
Freighter announcing plans to merge with Theta Care based out of Neenah.
The merger will add much-needed doctors to Wisconsin's North Woods.
Partnering with Theta Care to deliver residents and medical students into that environment can only help.
A large hotel on Milwaukee's east side is one step closer to reality.
The developers want to make the most money they possibly can from building the most lavish project on site they can. It's not serving the neighborhood need.
Won't somebody please think of the
NIMBY? Just listen to this little nugget of wisdom from a guy from Spooner.
I hear a lot about this surplus. How is it possible that we have a surplus if there's all this need out there? You're not doing your job.
I couldn't say it any better than that. We are not being served. It is ridiculous.
A red flag warning is in place.
If a fire were to spark, it could spread quickly.
A fire closing a stretch on I-94 from the west central Wisconsin town of Tomah all the way up to Black River Falls.
While a cause hasn't been determined, prescribed burns were taking place on the base all week.
We are going to do really in-depth investigation on this, but our focus right now is to ensure the safety of personnel and get this contained and put out.
Milwaukee firefighters battling a 3-alarm blaze this afternoon near 19th and Burnham.
The wind-driven fires do cause these fires to extend. That's what happened today.
We've now learned that those fires have produced fatalities, and there's also a personal connection, a strong personal connection.
On the phone, a lifelong Milwaukeean, my boyfriend, who has a connection to this neighborhood, Mike Jakubowski.
The one to the south is where my father was born and grew up. The one to the other side is where my mother was born and grew up.
That belongs in a museum.
Milwaukee revealed will have shades of the current MPM favorite.
We wanted to take the nostalgia and the legacy of that exhibit forward into an equally immersive experience.
What a week, eh? What a week.
Happy Fallen Friday!
Ladies and gentlemen, The Weekend.
Wisconsin's Morning News.
There's a company, real estate investment company, that wants to buy Northridge. And you would think,
great news.
Join Vince Vitrano every weekday starting at 5 a.m.
You would think, yes, fine. We withdraw, you come in here, you turn it into something, everybody's happy. Well, they're not happy. The city is actively now trying to obstruct this process, obstruct this company from buying the property. Somebody wants to come in and do something, and here the city just can't get out of its way again.
Only here, News Radio WTMJ.
Outdoor Living Unlimited turns yards into patios and decks, fire pits, pavers, retaining walls, even screen rooms and outdoor kitchens. Come see it all at the unique Outside In Gerke's Corners showroom they share with Siding Unlimited, the best installer of siding, of course, but also windows, doors, roofing, and decks. Their combo open house is Saturday, April 22nd from 9 to 1. Meet the product reps and Siding Unlimited and Outdoor Living Unlimited teams. Check out sidingunlimited.com and outdoorlivingunlimited.com. Open house Saturday, April 22nd from 9 to 1.
Make 2023 your year with a new career at John Deere Horicon Works. Their new starting wage is over $23 to $25 per hour, plus an annual John Deere profit sharing bonus and wage increase. And nothing beats the new benefits, including health insurance for your entire family with no premiums. Get a fresh start with the pay and benefits you deserve at John Deere Horicon Works. Apply now at deere.com/Horicon.
Group sales deals for the Wisconsin State Fair are here. Tickets are $12 each for an order of 50 or more until April 30th. Get additional discounts on your State Fair favorites too. Check out the groups page at wistatefair.com for more details.
You can't see it, but you sure can